It's another Saturday. It's another Racing Post Live. Welcome back to the fanfare that comes your way. Newbury and Newmarket this afternoon. Deep into the flat season, aren't we? Cannot wait for it to all kick off. We start in the 150 all the way up to the Lockinge, the Group 1 Lockinge. Palace Beer, the poster boy of the mile division, comes back out to play. Cannot wait, in conjunction with our sponsors. Betfair Exchange, cannot wait to showcase the functionality of that for you. We'll be placing in a trade in every single race. We'll be giving you tips along the way. We'll be playing for charity. Get involved, whether you're watching on YouTube. Do like and subscribe. Facebook Live, welcome along to the party. And anything you want to put on Twitter, hashtag RP Live. Myself, Dave Orton, joined by Ross Brierley back in the chair.
Hello.
In the middle. No, so we're going to be commentating today, Roscoe.
I've been in every chair. Every time I come in, it's jack of all trades. There's a light broken up there. I'm going to nip out and get a bulb halfway through.
I'm terrified for you because I bet you're awful at that sort of thing, aren't you? But what you are good
You've read me pretty well there, yeah.
Definitely. But what you are good at, of course, is spotting something along the way. Have you got one that you're really looking forward to, and perhaps something you're taking on or you're napping? Or
Yeah, I'd say there's a couple of races today. I'm really excited about seeing Bay Bridge in the London Gold Cup.
Been smashed, hasn't he?
Rob messaged us yesterday saying, do you have a tip that you're going to put up tomorrow? And I said Bay Bridge, and he said everyone said Bay Bridge, and it was 9-2 yesterday. And I thought this is one of those classic each way, cannot be out of the frame kind of.
Woke up this morning and
11-4, 5-2, yeah.
Yes.
But I think this is a genuine group horse in the making, which you need to be to win that race. And the other race I liked was the listed race headed by Belosa and Devil Waller. I thought those two might cut each other's throats and set it up for Cloudbridge and Fundamental. So they're my two races for the day, and of course the other races are just really classy horses you want to see go on to make it to the big marquee events.
Still learning a lot, aren't we?
Absolutely. You need to remind yourself. I had to remind myself the other day. I was like, it's been a frustrating start to the season. A couple of short price, this, that, and the others, but we barely scratched the surface.
Well, we're learning along the way. We're delighted that therefore Tom Collins joins us back on the panel as well. TC.
Afternoon, Dave. How are we?
We are good, my man. We are good. Now, this is right up your street today, TC, isn't it?
Yeah, Newbury, Newmarket. We've got the Preakness tonight at Pimlico. What a day, Dave. What a day of flat action.
Within the minute, TC has got to the Preakness. 11:47. See, they're accustomed to these strange race times. But Pimlico, of course, it is the Preakness, which is the second leg of the Triple Crown, right?
Indeed, yeah. Second leg of Triple Crown. Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit. Hero to villain kind of case. He heads the market for Bob Baffert.
Yeah.
A weak race, I'd say, but it's still going to be a good race nonetheless.
We'll get your steer on that towards the end of the show. So there you go. It may be raining out there, dreary in the UK, but plenty of action for you to stay in and enjoy. We'll be bringing you lifting your spirits. Don't worry about that. Who joins us from Betfair? Marc Hryhorskyj is on the line. He's in Hammersmith. Where are you, Marc?
Yeah, I'm in, I wouldn't say sunny Hammersmith right now, but it's good to be back, Dave, stepping in for Barry Orr this week. Always seem to get that call when there's any decent golf on. In relation to Tom Collins there, been on the traders already for a boost. We'll try and push Concert Tour out on the sportsbook, so stay tuned for that. I think we've got some quality racing today at Newmarket and Newbury. I think Logician's the interesting runner for me. The backers or layers can't make their mind up on the exchange as of yet. Should be able to make some profit for the charity of choice this month, which is the Bob Champion Cancer Trust. Fantastic cause. I didn't get to see the great man win aboard Aladante in the 1981 Grand National. Obviously, just a little bit before my time. But I did see the interview with Matt Chapman and Seb Sanders on Sky Sports Racing during the week. Bob was in great form and seems a top bloke. I'm confident I can get some profit for Betfair today for the charity. Also to the viewers, if you want to donate to the charity, it's bobchampion.org.uk. On the betting front, my form's been up and down this week, Dave. Found Archie Watson, Sherbert Lemon last week, so it's been keeping me going. But looking forward to today's actions, hopefully get some winners.
You were about the only one that found that lucky dip, Marc. And the last time you were on the show, it was Lincoln Day, wasn't it? With Top Rank, took out the Doncaster Mile that day. He's in the Lockinge. You whacked out Innisfree Lad that day, which anyone that would watch you when Marc was on some ridiculous price on Betfair. Marc knows how to pinpoint those big prize winners out there. And you have found one today on the machine, have you?
Yeah, I'll keep that one quiet till later on, but it is a big price. It's bigger than 50-1 right now, so we'll keep it quiet, okay?
Oh, the tease. There we are. Okay, so Marc will be placing a trade in every race. TC will be doing the trading from the studio. And if you want to get involved, do indeed do that. Don't forget, safe gambling all the way. So much action at the minute, as pre-mentioned. Take your time. target in and enjoy the sport. That's what it's all about. Shall we get the market up for the first race then, guys? It is the 150. Plenty of time to get your questions in. It's Lockinge Day. Who's the best Lockinge winner in recent memory? Well, of course, we all know the top of the tree, but who's your favourite one? Have you ever had any near misses in it? Have we seen any Royal Ascot banker material out there as well? That's what I'd like to hear from you. You can get involved. Viewer interaction makes the show. You know that. Join the party. We'll give you a shout out. I mean, we've had York this week, haven't we? And maybe a Haggis winner, Starman in the sprint. Let us know what's going to follow up at Royal Ascot. We're a month away. It starts a month away today. Cannot wait for that. We'll be bringing you all the action during that big week. Okay, there's the market up from the screen on the screen. Then it's basically a tricky 3-year-old race. I think we can say that, isn't it? Pretty much. We're just watching a race at Thirsk, actually. And we've got the action on in here. The reason why I'm referencing that, because what you couldn't see from the action here, and listen, we may as well say this, we wear our hearts on our sleeves in here, don't we? This is what you get, real-time reaction and analysis. And Tom, you're napping in the post. It's been done, hasn't it?
It's been nosed on the line. Don't believe it, Dave.
TC, goodness gracious me. So you're already up against it, my man. We've had the great Rodway has been sitting in that seat recently, and he's had a couple of early losers, and you've got to cheer him back up for the rest of the afternoon. But professionalism must abound.
Of course.
Can I pick you up on something, TC, actually, before we look at this first race and get the trays in?
Go for it.
I noticed that you tipped a horse in the paper this week, and you're not going to get away with this, man. It turned out to be a non-runner. Did you see what it was? It was a William Haggis horse at Thirsk. Do you know what it's called? Tom Collins. Tom Collins tipped Tom Collins.
I did. It wasn't even with irony. I was genuinely thought he had a good
Do you
chance
think
to win.
Connections were so disgusted about that? He just pulled it. I thought, let's get it when TC can't do it. But yeah, so listen, there is a Tom Collins out there racing. For the master that is William Haggis. Did a feature show William Haggis this week. It's an absolute pleasure. You can check that, of course, on our social channels. I recommend you do that. So TC has already lost by a short head, but we'll be coming back with you on that, Ross, as well.
No. It was such an unlucky loser that I felt really badly for Tom. That horse, he said before, I think this has got half a stone in hand, and it's come from last to first.
There's nothing wrong about being right and being wrong at the same time.
Exactly.
Is it?
No.
Yeah. All right. Let's hope that we don't get, who's going to join the social party? Shall we go to the corner and see who's joining? Tom Leach comes on. Leachy. He says, I've got Palace Pier and a tactical double. Loads of each way singles. LOL. All right, Tom, we'll give you an answer on that in just a sec, because we've got another one coming up from Hugh Masson, regular contributor. Great to have you back on, Hugh. Tactical, the horse that let Barry Orr take off his top hat during Royal Ascot. Do you remember that? Of course, Hugh. Great memory there. Absolutely. When we debuted Royal Ascot last year, Barry was all in his finery, and he fancied Tactical, didn't he, for His Majesty? For Her Majesty. Whoa, His Majesty. Yeah. For Her Majesty. And his top hat came flying off. So Tactical is the favourite, Marc Hryhorskyj. Is it going to go on the ground? There's been a bit of rain at Newbury.
I hope Bayer's not expecting me to take any tops off. We not going a big price in today. But yeah, they've been absolutely queuing up to back Tactical here in the last couple of minutes. 2.98 into 2.74. This one's looking quite strong on the Betfair Exchange right now. Showed a really good attitude, Tactical, last time out at Newmarket with finding trouble in running. He's hit 48-1 in running that day on the Betfair Exchange. The Godolphin runner, who was second on that occasion, Naval Crown, got the run of the race and has since won fourth. It was run fourth in the 2,000 guineas, giving the form a solid boost. Tactical's proven he's trained on as a 3-year-old. Was competing in some warm races in the tail end of the 2-year-old campaign. Most notably in the Hryhorskyj Stakes, finished 11th and 14th, only 4 lengths behind Poetic Flare, who has obviously since won the 2,000 guineas at Newmarket and has that form linked with Naval Crown. Best horse in the race, in my opinion, and I'm with Tom Leach and Hugh Mason here. I think easily give £3 to the rivals here, and I was quite surprised when Creative Force opened up 6-4 in the sportsbook during the week. I think the mark is starting to look a bit more accurate now. I think the 2-1 was the value. I think this one will probably go off around 6-4, but we'll get the day kicked off. We're going to have a straight £50 win on Tactical. I'm happy to be a price taker at 2.6, 2.56. They're absolutely queuing up here, Dave, to get on this Tactical now.
Great stuff. So, yeah, listen, Mark's going to highlight that for us as well. Listen, if you're new to the show, the Betfair Exchange, which you can see there, there you go, on the corner of the screen, that is the real market. This is when you usually walk onto the race course. Back in the old days, we're not far away from that again, are we? Bookmakers, they would use this to trade. You can see who's wanting to back and who's wanting to lay. If there's any queues of money, Marc will be highlighting that for us, and plenty wanting to be on tactical. So we've heard from Tom, we've heard from Hugh. They're on tactical. Tactical then, Tom, is a big leg of that double, isn't it? Palace Pier looks nailed on, doesn't he? We'll find out a little bit later on what the panel think about that, but we must get the tips for the first race from Tom Collins.
Yeah, I'm with tactical here. Much like Marc just said, to be honest. He's rated 112, £6 superior to Happy Romance, and got loads in hand of Creative Force as well, £9 ahead of that runner. I just think Tactical is the best horse in the race, and he seems to have improved. His recent victory at Newmarket was a career best, so he's trained on from 2 to 3. I know he gives the penalty away, but to me, he's just a cut above, and hopefully he'll get favourite backers off to a winning start.
He has one on good to soft, doesn't he? There's been rain in the area, of course. I'm not far from Newbury, and we have got James Byrne on track, our roving reporter, and he's had a word with Ben Curtis, who won the first race, and he said it is now on the slow side. So bear that in mind wherever you go. He's got a £3 penalty, Ross. Is that putting you off, or?
No, not at all. There's been one penalised winner of this in the past sort of 10, 15 years. That was Lockinge Island, who came into this race rated £7 superior. So,
right.
And Tactical is rated £6 superior. So it's a very similar kind of grade for Tactical. Again, I mean, he's given a penalty away because he is the proven horse at this level. His only real poor runs are in Group 1 company against absolutely rock solid types. Yeah. So I think this is a nice little stepping stone. They've got a lovely dilemma with him. Because they've got a Commonwealth Cup or a Jersey option. I think for Ascot, personally, I would go for the Jersey, even if he does win this, because I think that'll be a weaker race. It usually is. I think the Commonwealth Cup could be an absolute blinder again this year. But this should be a nice stepping stone for him. I think the slight concern for me is obvious pace. There's no obvious out-and-out front-running horse in this race. Michelle Starr's often a little bit keen. Spycatcher's been up there a couple of times. So my slight concern is if one jockey does go, well, I'm going to nick this, at a track where if you do set fairly steady fractions, you can get away from them. So that is a slight concern. Creative Force is a tough one. 3 from 3 at Newmarket, but the only races it's been able to win have been at Newmarket, so it's a tough one to know whether it's just the track. But I do think he's up against Tactical. And even, I think Happy Romance and Spycatcher are a bit overpriced potentially. Spycatcher's interesting because it's that form at Ascot I think is really interesting.
Rohan.
Yeah.
He's the one that I like, actually, so there we go. We've linked there. What was the actual
runners, though, isn't it?
Is it Tactical?
I think Tactical will win, yeah. I think Tactical should win this. My only concern, like I said, is if the horse gets too far back and there's no early pace.
Yeah, OK. So I'm swimming against the tide then. You get the feeling out there that Tactical is a pivotal horse there. Just while we concentrate on quickly, TC, do you think it will be Commonwealth? That's the obvious
step. I think the Jersey. They said they said after the Newmarket victory last time they were going to go to the Jersey. As Ross said, I think it's an easier race in the Commonwealth Cup. He's got the speed for 6 furlongs. He also stays 7. I just think he's a very versatile, talented horse. Better than this bunch.
6 on softish ground. Yeah. He's going to get a test of the 2, which is...
Exactly, and his 2 runs on soft ground, as you say, both in Group 1 company. Yeah. But the Dewhurst was one of them. There were so many horses disappointed that day. Chinned it, disappointed. He finished 5th in 2,000 guineas. So I wouldn't rule out the ground as
Can I give you the case of Spycatcher then? Ascot form. It did catch my eye actually last time, and it rained that day, if you remember, when he won at Ascot. It hadn't quite got into the ground enough for Spycatcher. They think that this guy, when it's soft, he's going to be one of these horses that likes it more than others. Horses like a Dave come into mind that just operate on it better than others. Don't have to have it. I think the surface will be perfect for him. I like the track. Ryan Moore, yet to ride a winner I couldn't find for Carl Burke, but Carl Burke said we had the option of going to Newmarket. We weren't sure about the undulations there. We couldn't get Ryan Moore if we come to Newbury, and here they are. And I think it just tees up nicely for him. I thought it was overpriced. Big fan of Tactical. I know lots of people are. And Her Majesty could well have a serious run out of Royal Ascot if this wins. I've mentioned Royal Ascot. The Great Carnival there kicks off again a month today. Let us know your big hopes for Royal Ascot. We'd love to hear them. You can get a word from the guys on what they think about their chances. Also, after every race, we're going to be hopefully giving you the quotes as soon as possible. I know you can hear them on the television, but that is a jockey and a trainer thinking quickly. Our quotes, of course, are when they've all huddled around, they got the debrief, they're the finished article, so we'll be breaking them here as soon as we can on the show for you. Will it be indeed Jersey, or will they be tempted by the Group 1 Commonwealth Cup? Okay, so more socials coming in. That's great, isn't it? We've given you the tips. You've got plenty of time to react. They're on their way down. Sun is sort of shining, actually, at Newbury, but it is deep underfoot. And along comes Chris Timms to the party and says, tactical for me, another one. Won an easy ground last season. Drop back in trip shouldn't be a problem. Are you, Chris, worried slightly about the lack of pace, as Ross highlights there? Who else we've got coming on? Let's move on. Mally Draycott, great to have you back, Mally. Says, tactical again, Loppy Fernandez. Al-Azi, trebled up today. Lovely. It seems like a day for a bit of a multiple, doesn't it?
That's. I mean, it's kind of the problem with today. I've really enjoyed this week looking at York, sitting down, going right.
Great meeting, York. I thought, by the way.
It was incredible, yeah. And it
Do you think we saw Royal Ascot winners there?
Yes, yeah. I think we might.
One in particular?
I thought Canonised ran a lovely trial for a 5 furlong race.
The 2-year-old just over, Shivy Park, William Haggis.
I thought, it was 5 furlong race, but it switched left, switched right, came from last to second at a race in a track that suits speed. I think that was a proper Ascot run. That is a last to first kind of Ascot horse, if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, Tom Marquand will be on.
Yeah, so I thought it was a really interesting runner.
That's an interesting one.
But what were we talking about?
We were talking
Here's
about
a York winner. Here's a future Group 1 York winner, Ilarab.
Yeah,
in the Jorvik handicap.
I spoke to William Haggis about this horse yesterday. Do you know something he said? He said he thinks he's definitely better going left-handed.
Oh, really?
That kind of rules out your Sandowns and your Ascot in particular, isn't it? You know.
That's interesting.
Isn't it? And that was a win and you're in for the E-ball, wasn't it? Haggis reckons he'd get around about 110 for that. And he said, with a glint in his eye, he said, we'll have to find something else for it. Like he's probably got about 3 or 4 candidates at the moment that could step up. But the left-handed thing, really interesting, isn't it? So I thought Ilarab as well.
Yeah,
because he looks like a right tool, doesn't he?
Definitely.
Of course, William Haggis started with Sir Marc Prescott. He's won 5 out of 6 handicaps.
Yeah.
It's a chip.
What I like about him is he keeps going through gears and gears and gears, and
he looked like he briefly hit a flat spot, didn't he? But then he immediately
every
picked
time,
up.
and you think,
Starman? Were we impressed with Starman?
Yeah, I was.
Sprint winner?
I think he's more of a York than an Ascot horse.
That's interesting. What do you think the slightly stiffer finish might find him out?
I think it's just the way he lays up with the
He's a right
speed.
tool, though, isn't he?
He is, but if you're laying at York, the way he can lay up with the speed at York and then find at Ascot, you lay up with the speed and then something comes rattling past.
What else?
Late.
Spanish Mission beat Sir Ron Priestley, ran well, didn't he, yesterday? But
I
all these
don't know.
great horses that ran at York in the week.
Yeah, I was disappointed with Sir Ron Priestley, I thought. He didn't seem to stay, but then we know that he stays because he's won over the trip before. But
I don't know, Tom, they'll be very tempted dropping back in trip now, I think. Sort of 2 out, he looked like he was going to eat them all up. And did they go a bit to the well too soon? Maybe if they hadn't run it.
They got racing early as well, and obviously,
and
obviously third run back after a long
What
layoff.
about Santiago? Looks like a bit of a
boat.
Yeah.
bit of a heat, I was going to say.
Bit of a triumph hurdler.
So harsh, isn't it, on a horse of Santiago's class? But Irish Derby winner, of course. So look, so many horses to talk about in a minute. Quite right. Who else comes on? Creative Force, you can see the spotlight. Neil Francis, welcome back, Neil. Happy Romance. You had the guys in the gallery all over that. Rob Lee, our senior producer. One horse this week he's been talking to me about. Brave effort, wasn't it, despite things going wrong? You'd have seen that in your members section of your paper today, which Ellen said she won despite everything going wrong for her. They tried to stretch her out for a potential Guineas campaign, which we see so much. That was in her first run. You're shaking your head. Was that just a ridiculous thing to do?
Well, they just do it every time with these kind of horses.
Tiggy Wiggy they did it with.
Yeah.
She actually went off as favourite for the Fred Darling.
Yeah, absolutely. But this horse is. But then this horse has a visual and a running style where Happy Romance is getting outpaced.
If Happy Romance wins, can we all agree that we'll just kind of go? She's
she's a great filly, isn't she?
lovable already.
She was a cheap purchase. She won so many races last year. However, she has been withdrawn both times. She's been declared on ground with Given It. So
yes,
that's
that
the
was
one
at
worry.
Salisbury she was taken out when it poured down one day. So listen, great to have your interaction. Keep it coming. Marc Hryhorskyj, a final market update, please. Where's that money coming from?
Yeah, there's a little bit of late money for your selection, Happy Romance. 7.8 are into 6.2 around the 5-1 mark. The layers have came out for Tactical. That's out to 2.68 now, and a little bit of support for Creative Force, 3.45. It's probably going to go off around the 5-2 chance on the Betfair Exchange. But hoping for a big run from Tactical and hopefully Happy Romance for forecast purposes here.
I was going to say she won. She beat Alcohol Free on Good to Soft at Salisbury.
She did.
So
yeah, Alcohol Free ran all right. I thought in the Guineas. Who won the Fred Darling? I thought it ran all right. It was a weird gamble, that wasn't it?
Not a miler.
It's just not a miler. No, that's Coronation Cup sort of thing, isn't it? So listen, we're learning about the pecking order of these sprinters at the moment. There they go in to the gates. The first race in the 150. Good luck wherever you are playing. Hopefully Ross Brierley will be cheering home your winner.
Yes, hopefully so. Let's see if there is any of that early pace as they jump off at Newbury then. And again, settling down to find their early positions. And when the dealing's done, is normally slowly away and held up and comes through to take it up with Michel Star. And again, they are visually going a very, very modest gallop here. Michel Star, from when the dealing's done on the far side, Creative Force has tracked over to track Tom Marquand on Michel Star down this near side. Spycatcher pulling, I mean, what isn't pulling, to be honest with you? Tactical on this inside as well. Happy Romance got a nice sit, got a lovely bit of cover there, and dead last is Trina. But again, they are not going a mad gallop here, and Ryan Moore has decided to take it up aboard Spycatcher, goes through the gears and gets when the dealing's done off the
He's going to take some beating here, I think. In the TC, is he going to take some beating?
He's going really nicely. He's in the prime position. Tactical's still there travelling, so is Happy Romance. It's all to play for at this moment.
And Creative Force on the far side. When the dealing's done, still sticking on. Michel Star hasn't come off the bit either. Tactical trying to pick up, just been tapped for toe. Creative Force comes through and looks a big, big danger on that far side. And I think Creative Force has got this.
Oh, he has.
Spycatcher from Creative Force. Tactical hasn't picked up. Here comes Happy Romance running on as ever. Creative Force, so hands and heels, hasn't been asked for an effort here and has gone to the front to take it up from Spycatcher very easily indeed. And that is some performance. Creative Force has absolutely bolted up here. Beat Spycatcher. Tactical didn't have that tactical pace and goes on to finish third.
You're quite right about one thing, TC. It will be the Jersey now. They'll be going there. They'll still have the confidence. It's Her Majesty's horse, so we will see Tactical at Royal Ascot. Unfortunately, he didn't pull it out today, did he? We'll pick the bones out of that performance after we get the story of the market with Marc Hryhorskyj.
Yeah, it was really impressive there from Creative Force. I think he's only hit around maybe 4-1 in running there. It looked all over at the furlong pole. I think Tactical was very, very disappointing. I think that one was in trouble around 3 outs. Didn't really travel that well, was under pressure. But Creative Force, certainly impressive. I think Ryan Moore was quite an enterprising ride there. That one's traded as low as 3.2 for small money, so just around the near enough the 9-4 mark. But yeah, Creative Force definitely one for the notebook after that performance. Absolutely.
He's a pivotal horse as well, Marc, going forward, because there's a couple of horses at Newmarket later on. Jumbie being one. Perotto, I fancy, at Newmarket as well. So, yeah, listen, and let's concentrate on that winning performance there. Listen, this is a horse that they took to the Coventry last year, didn't they? Rushed him after he won on his debut. A lot of horses, because of the COVID pandemic last year, this weird truncated season we had, 2-year-olds suffered in particular, and he went completely cold after that. They weren't totally sure what we had. I remember when he won a Newmarket as return, Charlie Appleby, a master trainer, said he hasn't grown, but he is a compact little dynamite horse. The ground was the worry today, Ross. Not a bit of it.
Not a bit of it at all. And I mean, he haven't even considered showing him the whip there. He has won that with plenty in hand. I would say that Happy Romance and Tactical want a strong gallop and they want something to chase, and they didn't get that today, so there is that.
So do you think they will persevere still with Tactical as a sprinter? Do you think I've been a bit hasty there?
I think they'll go 7 furlongs with him. He was blatantly outpaced at the halfway stage when the leaders quickened. They went so slow early. They went 15.41 first furlong, 12.51 second furlong. You'd usually expect a sub-12 second furlong early. So they went slow. Ryan quickened the pace up, and Creative Force, who was entered in the 5 furlong Dragon Stakes as a 2-year-old, so he obviously has plenty of speed, benefited, used his turn of foot, quickened to the front and won easily in the end.
Can he win a Commonwealth Cup, TC?
Maybe if he keeps progressing, because he is a very progressive sort. On that performance, I think he has to improve a little bit, because he's probably flattened by the winning margin, given those in behind would have favoured a faster early gallop. But look, he's very impressive, isn't he? He won 3 starts this term, and he's with the right team as well, and Charlie Appleby and Godolphin.
Do you think punters will have it in the back of their mind that he's got the duck egg at Ascot when he turns up next month?
Yes, possibly, yeah. I think you were more on the money with that, though. I think it was just a rush job.
I backed him that day, and I really thought he'd run a big race and never turned up.
Well, he was very impressive on debut, and he obviously needed a bit more time. I mean, the impressive thing about that is just the cruising speed.
And overcoming tactical diversities as well, because he's had a couple of strong races at Newmarket. Listen, we're gushing.
He did go a good clip at Newmarket. They were small fields last time, but they had a good pace to chase.
Flat track, undulating track. I like this horse. I like him a lot.
Well, we were saying the Commonwealth Cup. It's my favourite thing that they've changed in racing over the past few years. I think the Commonwealth Cup is an absolute blinder.
It won't be a Royal Ascot again as we know it. Are we fans out there of these extra races that they put in? A 5-year-old, 3-year-old handicap. Honestly, 20 years ago, if you'd have told me that there was going to be something like that, I think the old gods at Ascot would be crying and turning. But listen, it's a full programme now, isn't it? Let's get it in.
Yeah.
In Australia, they have 10 race cars and punters love it.
Exactly. I just like racing. It's another puzzle to try and solve on a really good day, isn't it? So no complaints from me.
Get it in. All right then. Have we seen a Royal Ascot winner? Let us know. We still want your Royal Ascot naps out there. Hard luck, guys, that were on tactical. Pick yourselves back up, though, because we've still got some great races coming your way. Might have a Derby candidate coming up in the next at Newmarket. There you can see the Betfair SP. Marc, have we got a price for the Commonwealth Cup? I'm throwing that one at you. But the Sportsbook and the Anti-Post, we're going to be trying, hopefully, to get that for Royal Ascot from you today.
Yeah, I'll need to get back to you on that one. I know tactical, I think he was currently around the 33 to 1 chance there, but I'll get back to you on that one. But to agree with what you guys said there regarding the pace early, I think that put pay to tactical's chances there. But Great Force definitely one to keep on side there.
Right, okay. We like the race then, basically. Happy Romance, if you're on that, don't you give up at all. A decent form race. And I think there's one in Spycatcher as well, isn't there? Let's go to Newmarket, however. It's the Fairway Stakes, listed race. A tricky race on paper. I'll get it out of the way. I think we might be seeing the real deal here. It's about time that Ed Dunlop had another worldie, and this is bred to be. John Leaper. We'll get the panel's view on this one. Is he the real deal for you, Marc Hryhorskyj?
He's actually on the drift here. Pat Dobbs and Fancy Man have just went favourite there. They're absolutely queuing up to get on this one on the Betfair Exchange here. Currently 2.68. John Leaper 2.7. But I actually want to take John Leaper on here. I'm not convinced with that form at Newcastle. The front two, Moktasib and First Light, taking each other all a long way out, and it's very difficult to make all at Newcastle in my opinion. I just think John Leaper picked up the pieces. Was too short. I think Sir Marc Todd's runner Tasman Bay is interesting and actually has superior form to John Leaper in my opinion. Sir Marc Todd's definitely a trainer to keep on sides, definitely going places in my opinion. And again, John Leaper, a trainer, not had many winners at this level. Pretty surprised this was a short. I think the mark is starting to look a bit right here. I think Fancy Man should be favourite here. But the one I actually like is I like Mark Johnson's See the Shells. You know I love an outsider, Dave. Ran a poor race first time on turf, but Mark Johnson did say the See the Shells had been afforded a high rating after winning easily on 2 runs on the all-weather. And this first run on turf last time out. So willing to give this one another try. As you say, always trying. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have a £25 win on See the Shells on the win.
At the price, 22, 21.
Yeah, we'll take that. Yeah, I'm happy to take that. Yeah, and then I'll have a £25 bet in the free place market as well.
Mm-hmm. Price taker?
Let's see what price he is at the moment.
3.4.
Yeah, happy to take that. Yeah.
Excellent.
Knows the game, TC, doesn't he? He's getting all the jargon out as well.
There
you are. All right, there's a Betfair man in him yet. Listen, okay, we're really looking forward to this. And Marc is going for the outsider of the lot. Didn't he look good in his first 2 starts? We'll get to the panel's idea and See the Shells, the outsider. You've got time to react to that. Just that previous winner at Newbury, I was, while Marc was talking, I was looking down the anti-post market, seeing if it had come in at all. Not entered in the Commonwealth. So, but I mean, there's a supplementary. I'm sure the powers that be there at Godolphin could do that. That'll be an interesting turn. We'll get the quotes for you coming from the track ASAP. We must move on though. It looks like Fancy Man is going to be going off favourite here. I'm a bit surprised by that. Big run at Chester, TC. Did it impress you?
I thought he was slightly unlucky with the trip he got that day. I'm not with him today, though I do think he should be favourite on official ratings. Now, I'm not adamant with official ratings of 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds. I take them with a pinch of salt, to be honest, because horses
it's one of those where we should go and put the kettle on while you
no.
You go on one of your rants.
No, just I think you can take them with a pinch of salt. But on official ratings, Fancy Man is the horse to beat in this field. John Leaper was impressive at Newcastle. He's got to prove it back on turf. I like Marc and with See the Shells. Just at the price.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think Fancy Man's about the right price now, 6-4. John Leaper should be second favourite. There's no value in his price. Tasman Bay travelled really nicely and he ran against a good horse in Hurricane Lane who came out and won the Dante. But I'm not sure about him over this trip. See the Shells. I'm willing to put a line through that run at Sandown. He travelled well, but no horse from off the pace played any part in any race that day at Sandown. It was just those on the front end.
It tends to be a Sandown thing, that TC.
It does, and that's why I'm willing to give him another chance. Like, he did flatten out dramatically in the closing stages. He was beaten all a long way, but his first 2 starts on the all-weather were very impressive. And at 18, 20 to 1, whatever price he is, I just think he's a good bet in a race where you can kind of make a case for all 5 of the field.
Yeah, okay. So, and Johnson's absolutely flying, isn't he? He's had a great York.
As always. Yeah.
As always, they're winning all over the place. Ross Brierley.
I'm with Fancy Man here. I think John Leaper will be the best horse in this race. Absolutely. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind about that. Yep. But the other thing about this race, again, is there's not going to be any pace, again. And it's a track, again. Yesterday, they weren't getting home because there was a strong headwind at Newmarket. I haven't had a chance to check that this morning, so I'm slightly concerned about that. But John Leaper relished a really strong gallop at Newcastle. I disagree with Marc in the sense that I actually think it was a good novice. And I think it will throw up plenty of winners. But I agree. I think the ones on the speed with the interesting ones and other horses I marked off, the 4th, King Francis in particular, who's got form tied in with Bay Bridge later, I think is very interesting. But John Leaper came from last to first in the style of a really, really talented horse.
They're very excited about this chap, and they've got every right to be on pedigree, haven't they? I like him.
He's got
my
an incredible pedigree. He can't get better than his pedigree.
Frankel out of Snow Fairy. It's hard to think initially of a more likeable mare, and since I've been racing, actually, she's just an absolute class act.
He's definitely priced up on potential rather than.
Well, that's the thing, TC. It's substance against form, isn't it? But with Fancy Man, I thought he had a hard enough race. He looked like he was going to win at Chester, despite the trip. He's back in trip, which will suit him. But it's a hard race. And those horses that have turned out from Chester quickly, a lot of them have been turned out. It was tough ground, if you remember.
And I know people, obviously, at home punters like to hear what the jockey's saying. Tom Marquand was on the opening show this morning. I caught a bit just before I came here. And Rishi Prasad asked him about what he thought of Fancy Man, because he was on the Youth Spirit, who won that race. And Tom said he was disappointed with Fancy Man. He thought he had to go wide, but usually that's a telling move. So he was disappointed.
I really don't think it was a mile and a half. He kicked him on. He hit the front. And he looked all over the winner, and I just really don't think he got home.
He just didn't stay, did he?
He didn't get home.
So the trip was perfect.
How many times have you seen 500 races at Newmarket and a horse kick out of the dip and the closers don't get anywhere near it? If Pat Dobbs does what they did at Chester on him today, I don't think they'll catch him. I think John Leaper will probably run on. If John Leaper wins this in a completely contrasting style to Newcastle, we know we've got a proper tool on our hands.
And he's only turning out 15 days after, isn't he? This is why I like John Leaper. I was a huge Snow Fairy fan. I was almost pitchforked out of my village when she didn't stay in the St Leger, having told everyone that she'd win the St Leger that year. And she cruised, and I started to count the money. She just didn't get home. But we know that after that, she was obviously Oaks winner and all that sort of thing. And I want Ed Dunlop to have a really good horse again. I think this is it. So I'm believing in the hype a little bit, if you like. But I thought there was so much to like about his Newcastle win. If you look back again at his 4th at Doncaster, first time out, very much a prep 2-year-old run. Loads of winners have come out of that. Some very good horses ahead of him, and this just all looks right for him. If he goes on the soft ground and if he goes on the undulations, they won't see which way he goes. That's what I think. So could we see a flyer for the Derby coming in? Marc Hryhorskyj, get ready for the anti-post moves, please, on that, if we see him going. Tasman Bay, Paul Keeley, all over that as well. Should say, look, John Leaper, all over the Spotlights as well. Spotlights already, unsurprisingly, having a rather good day. Emily Webber, the queen of the Spotlights, is 2 from 2 in the first 2 races at Newbury. Absolutely fantastic. We're rocking here on Racing Post Live. Let's get a social on. Connie Doherty comes on and says, welcome along, Connie. I'm telling you, this horse is much better than his last run, and Ed Dunlop is not one to underestimate. Had a winner at the track yesterday. Thank you, Connie. So basically, I'm with you all the way. Had a winner yesterday, didn't he?
I'm going to throw some... he did. Well, he had a second that got the race.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw something back you were saying earlier about William Buick on hold-up horses.
Oh, you're throwing me under a bus a bit here, are you?
Well, no, I'm not. I know. We were just talking... No, we were talking about jockeys' we were talking about that Sylvester de Souza is a really good horse when they're drilling them from the front.
Let's not make any bones about it. Certain jockeys have definite strengths.
Absolutely.
All jockeys.
Yeah.
All jockeys.
All humans have strengths and weaknesses.
For yourself, Brierley.
Well, yeah, to be fair, I am a jack of all trades, a master of none, so fair. But Buick is a jockey you like to see
in what you call the Mark Johnson position. If he'd have been stable jockey for Mark Johnson, they'd have just won every race on the planet. Because William Buick, when he keeps it simple, and if he's on a hard puller in a fast run race, he's tiny, Will Buick, honestly. So look, we all have our favourite jockeys, don't we? We think we see strengths and weaknesses. We are a little bit reluctant to criticise in racing jockeys. Unlike the football, of course. There are all sorts of reasons why that is. Jockeys, of course, are freelance. They don't have a team that's paying them wages, even if they kick it into Rose Ed when they should have put it in the goal. All that sort of thing. But I think we should, we can call them out a little bit more. Listen, it's a sport at the end of the day.
It's not necessarily criticism, though, is it? It's just analysis. It is, like you said.
So what's the point? You think that he's not going to enjoy a tactical affair here or something?
He was so impressive last time out.
We're off and running, Ross. We're off and running. You've been so indebted into a tactical analysis of his race. And you forgot to call off the start, man.
He is pulling for his head. Tasman Bay and Fancy Man are up there. Fancy Man, to be fair, hasn't particularly settled, but Pat Dobbs is going to maybe send him on. But again, no pace. Small fields, softish ground on a Saturday. These are the kind of races you're going to get. Tasman Bay has settled, though, fairly nicely in front. Fancy Man still waiting to settle. Flying High is going okay. John Leaper is thrashing his head around again. Just a completely different kind of race. And he has not settled yet. See the Shells out in last hasn't settled yet. The only one who has is Tasman Bay. And Marc, no surprise to see the market react strongly.
Yeah, Tasman Bay is currently 5-2 and running here, 3.55. Just before I got to plug there, the John Leaper was 16-1 for the Sportsbook for the Derby, but on the drift here, out to 3-1, 4.2.
Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. He's coming back onto the bridle. I've got no problems. They're all taking a pull here, Brierley. What's the problem with you? Only Tasman Bay hasn't because he's led.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I'm saying he was impressive last time out off a very different kind of thing. I'm not saying he can't win. I'm just saying that is the concern. And currently, Tasman Bay is in front. Fancy Man has settled. John Leaper has now settled. Flying High for a yard who are very much doing that down this near side. Had countless winners yesterday. For the Balding team, and then See the Shells is held up last for the Johnston yard. But unsurprisingly, they are bunched together here, and not much between a lot of them. Tasman
now they're
Bay.
winding up, TC. Who's the one to be on?
John Leaper's making a nice move in between runners.
Oh, I love that move!
Now hitting the front under Will Buick, taking the race scruff of the neck.
Absolutely the right thing to do. Win, lose or draw.
Yes, John Leaper. How Fancy Man throwing down the challenge on the far side, Flying High. John Leaper has used up his gas though. Tasman Bay still in front.
See the Shells is coming, boys.
See the Shells down this near side under hands and heels. Does have a very good chance indeed. John Leaper, Tasman Bay, Fancy Man hasn't found. Flying High hasn't found. See the Shells has a little bit of a chance if he can put it all together, but he's struggling at the moment.
Go on, the Leaper.
John Leaper hanging off a true line. Tasman Bay coming back.
Go on, Leaper.
John Leaper surely has a bit of stamina up his sleeve here. John Leaper from Tasman Bay.
Yeah.
John Leaper wins nicely from Tasman Bay. Different race today and has found gears that we didn't know he had. Gone through to beat Tasman Bay, Fancy Man third. Then we've got See the Shells and Flying High last.
Right,
Go on, Tom Collins.
I'm going to throw something at you because I know you like this horse. What do you think the strength of the form is, personally? And are you impressed?
He's just let him win the race first.
No, I know. Because I think he's very impressive there, personally, because he reefed and pulled early, and you don't see horses
absolutely
do that.
right to ask that, TC, because the horse in question that he's beaten, Tasman Bay, got beaten by Hurricane Lane, who won the Dante.
And people will, obviously, with the pedigree, with the impressive victory at Newcastle last time, and now winning with everything going wrong, people will jump on the hype of this horse.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm delighted for Will Buick there as well, because we had a little talk about maybe a couple of potential chinks there. Tactically, there's no doubting that the Buick is up there with the best of them. And he did exactly the right thing.
In the Chester Cup, when Frankie moved Falconate around the outside and took the race by the scruff of the neck, got into the best position. Will Buick just did that. You get into the best position early, and then you let the horse. The horse has every chance, yeah.
And he's going to learn so much from that, I think, Ross, isn't he? In the dip and up, and I love this horse. He's bred to be an absolute monster, and he
should stay further as well. I think the fact that he managed to stick out that race really well and hit the line. I know he pulled hard early. He'll need a faster gallop to settle, but he's getting more and more experience. He won really.
I'm delighted with that.
He's won in spite of everything, essentially. I mean, Will Buick did struggle to settle him early because the horse is going, well, hang on a minute. 2 weeks ago, we had a mad gallop and I had a whole string of horses I could follow. Today, he's had to do a very different thing, and he's beat Tasman. But I mean, you look where the second has been throughout the race. John Leaper has essentially come from last to first. He's also quickened in the mid part of the race, which is often when horses use the
It's only 15 days ago that he made his comeback. This is. I guess the worry now, TC, probably go to Marc, so we can pick the bones out of exactly how haywire that went and what the future might hold. Is it going to come a bit quick, the Derby, potentially?
Potentially. I think Ed Dunlop, in an ideal world, would want to give him a little bit of a rest now to mature, especially mentally, because we saw he pulled so hard early. And Epsom as well, with all the camber and whatnot, may not be ideal for him. However, he's got so much ability, hasn't he?
He's probably thinking about the Melbourne Cup already, old Ed Dunlop, isn't he?
Probably. I'm looking at the form. The form of that race is strong because the second ran third to Hurricane Lane, as you said, but I think the second to Miler, and I don't think Fancy Man ran his race necessarily.
Well, he hasn't. He's completely blown out his first beaten, Ross, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's finished third. He's run
Has
right.
he? Okay, I'll take that
See
back.
the Shells flattened out late, to be
That
fair.
was a good shout, though, guys. Marc Hryhorskyj, you were keen on See the Shells. He looked at one point like he might come and pick them up. TC was with you. How low did he go?
Yes, See the Shells actually went as low. Was actually matched at 2-1 and running there for £474. I'm not sure who backed that. I didn't think he was a 2-1 chance at any stage in running there. But
I don't know. I don't know. It's a little bit
not
odd.
for me. Not for me. Maybe it was a bit of a drone malfunction. I'm not sure. But Tasman Bay, 1.5 in running there for £503. And the winner, John Leaper's actually hit 12s in running for £55. That was a really good run by John Leaper, considering how keen that one was in the run. So still 16-1 available with Betfair on the sportsbook for the Derby if you want a bit of that.
Let's have a bit of fun. Marc has a bit of a look of a drone pilot about him, doesn't he? he's got that sort of like, you know what I mean? If you're out there looking for these drones above Heathrow, maybe Hammersmith is the place to go to.
I was thinking less a drone pilot, more what the air traffic controller is.
It's absolutely quite right. You can see him as being the boss of the air traffic control.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, quite right.
I'm quite close to Heathrow, so I need to be careful. But yeah, I've just got the message from the boss there.
You've just outed yourself. Oh, did you? Okay.
We've had a bit of money there for John Leaper. It's currently 7-1 on the sportsbook now, so that 16-1's now gone. So if you want to take that, have a go.
It probably is a bit. I think I would have and you're going to King Edward VII.
I think it is the King Edward VII,
Yeah.
which is the Royal Ascot Derby, as we call it.
I mean that
would suit him better, wouldn't it?
That should be perfect. It should be absolutely because
There's only one Derby, guys, and this every season is where connections get so tempted. His mum's won around Epsom.
We hear this every year, don't we? There's only one Derby, there's only one 2,000 guineas. But you've got to ruin a horse. You see horses ruined.
Derby winners. It was Bruce Millington that had that great stat until Anthony Van Dyke, the late Anthony Van Dyke, came out and won last year. There was an awful record of the follow-up winners, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just the desire to win the Derby. It overrules
I think it ruins them a little bit. Like 100%. Taking a horse to Cheltenham over the jumps after one run for the festival. That sort of
exactly. Yeah,
this
is champion bumper or whatever.
There's only one Derby, but you might win. You could come back next year and win the Coronation Cup with King George. So if you don't bottom the horse,
we've had some great viewer interaction. Connie, well done. You were with me. John Leaper has taken that faith leap that we needed towards Epsom. We'll be getting the quotes for you very shortly along the way. I'll look back and see if I can get something from Creative Force as well. We must move on, though. There's the Betfair SP. What was it around about? Just under 2-1, wasn't it? So sevens on the sportsbook. If you think we've seen the Derby winner there, it would be an unconventional route. But listen, I still think that we're catching up a little bit, aren't we? From COVID, we're seeing a lot of these backward 2-year-olds. Santa Barbara, for example, once raced a novice winner, going into favourite for a guinea. Is that what? You know, so TC.
The hype again. It's hype, isn't it? Like
a lot of people fancy her for the Oaks strongly, don't they?
I think
Derby
Weaver said she's a good thing.
Derby looks a clearer picture, doesn't it, than the Oaks? We're going to agree on that?
I don't think the Oaks looks a very good race at all.
CM Press is due out later for Team Agus, isn't it, at Newbury? And William Agus said she's by far the best we've got. So if she's going to be running in an Oaks, she's got to be running this weekend. So good luck if you're on that project.
By far the most, the Zayada is by far the most interesting one for me.
She ran really well at Chester.
Second in the Cheshire Oaks.
The way that horse last year, the way that horse finished races was phenomenal. And if that is not an Epsom finish, then I don't know what is. So yeah, I think. But you're right. It's still a bit of a muddy picture.
What wins the Derby? What wins the Oaks? Let us know. Welcome along if you just joined the party here this afternoon. Saturday. It means it's another Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, Ross Brierley, Tom Collins and Marc Hryhorskyj from Betfair. We're having a good time so far. It's been good fun. Shall we ramp it up? Let's go to Newbury because we're about to see a couple of classy models turning up in the Aston Park Stakes. Marc Hryhorskyj, take it away.
Yeah, the 225, obviously, Logician reappears here. I think this could make or break a lot of punters' day here, especially mine's after the first two. I just missed out on a place there. I see the Shells. But one thing I would want to note here is the Gosden Yard. I mean, they're currently 4 from 40, 10% at the moment. And there was a lot of money for Logician now. It was into actually 2.66, so I was quite surprised. Alessi was as big as 2.38, but absolutely queuing up for Alessi. There's currently even money. I can see this one going odds on. Logician's out to 3.1. I have to be against Logician here. I'm in the Layers camp. Excellent 3-year-old, most notably beating Sir Ron Presley in the Road in the St Ledger at Donny. Hated that run at York though. Turned over at 1 to 3. Alessi looks a solid fave here. Should take all the beating. I thought it would have been odds on. It looks odds on now when I was doing my notes, but I'm happy to take Logician on the place market here at silly odds. Could potentially need the run. And I'm not convinced by the stable form. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a chance here. We're going to lay Logician in the 2 and 3 place market here. He's currently one. It's on the drift now. So if we can get about, we'll lay £25 at 1.65.
Is that backer stake or liability?
Just backer stake.
Okay. Yep.
And then we'll have a £50 lay at backer stake at 1.25 in the 3 place market. I just think Thunderous has got a chance to hit the places. I think Alessi's the one to beat. I just think there's more value in place laying Logician and obviously showcasing the Betfair Exchange capabilities. I think that's the best way to play this. So the liability is currently sitting at, or waiting to get matched here. If you want to click that up to 1.7, we're matched there. We've got 17 liability on the 2 place market and 12.50 on the 3 place market. So we've roughly got around £30 liability on that race to knock out £75 profit. I'm happy with that bet.
Oh, taking on the former St Ledger winner, lots to prove, isn't he? Of course, Al Arzi came back to form at Newbury last time. Wasn't he impressive? Ran about the only ones to sigh through the pack from off the pace that day. Jim Crowley can ride him with confidence now, says William Haggis, who thinks this is the start that they hoped he was at 3 last year. OK, let's go down. Marc Hryhorskyj taking on the former St Ledger winner, Logician. Rumours are he's not been working great so far, TC. Their rumour is about headgear potentially going on. But if you keep a St Ledger winner in training at 5, with the pedigree he's got, surely Team Gosden hoping for more to come.
Yeah, I think it's more of a trying to fulfil his potential kind of ambition this season, because he was so good at 3, wasn't he, Logician? He was the talk of the town and the next big thing. And then he suffered a really bad injury. He was in intensive care, almost died. So it's a really good story that they managed to get him back. But last year, as Marc said, his 2 runs weren't good. He won a 2-runner race, and the horse that finished second, can't remember the name, Mythical something, owned by Godolphin, didn't run his race.
Oh, it was the stayer, wasn't it? Mythical Magic.
That's it. And then when he finished 4th of 4, his head was all over the gaff.
The Cumberland Lodge.
Exactly.
Was run, was it York? Or was it?
Yes, I think it was. So I just think the favourite's a good thing in here, Al Arzi. I think he was flattened by the way the race panned out last time at Newbury. He was the only horse to come from off the speed. They went hard early, and when they go hard early, you expect those in behind to finish well. He was the only one to finish. The horses that finished 2nd, 3rd and 4th were all prominent. So I think he was flattened. A few horses in behind didn't perform. But at the same time, he was very impressive, slicing through the field. And I just think he's the best horse in this race with all the doubts about Logician. Listen,
I'm going to get out of the way as well. I spoke to William Haggis, as I've already mentioned on the show yesterday, filled me with confidence. I said, can you give £3 away to a former St Ledger winner? Yes, we can. Talented is this horse. So I think the key with Al Arzi is the first part of the race. Great moment to throw to Ross Brierley, who's been talking about all of you.
I was going to steal it off Ross. Just when you threw to him, I was going to go and the pace and then steal it off him, because I know he's going to talk about it.
How do we see the pace scenario here?
Probably Ranch Hand is the obvious one. Thunderous sometimes, when he won at York, when he was whipped 1,000 times on the.
He won the Dante, of course. It rescheduled Dante with an asterisk next to it. It's a long time ago, that seems, isn't it?
Yeah,
he like the ground, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he will like the ground. Yeah, but the pace should come from Ranch Hand, because this horse is early on in his career. Ranch Hand was a proper hold-up performer in handicaps, and then suddenly, I don't know if it's since he ran over hurdles, they couldn't keep him in a straight line at Exeter when he ran over hurdles, and he just kept going and going, and it worked last time out on the all-weather as well. So he is a horse who's suddenly become a pace angle. And it's not really what you want on the round track on softish ground at Newbury. So he should set it up for the closers. When asked for the tip this morning, this is the race of the day where I don't really have a huge opinion.
This would be the one you're at the bar.
Yeah, I'd be watching it, but I wouldn't be betting on it. And Logician is interesting, but I've just had a look, Marc, and you're right about the Gosden horses. And Dettori has been 11 Gosden horses in the past 2 weeks. Every one has finished unplaced. which
They
I think
are
is
okay. Let's
fairly
concentrate
big
on that a
support.
little bit. Let's get so
Absolutely,
Marc's
yeah.
onto something there. Okay, just a word for you out there. The guys in the gallery are building all the Royal Ascot social naps. We know they're coming in thick and fast. We'll do that towards the back end of the show, I am told. Keep them coming in. Let's pile them up, and we'll get a one word on the Royal Ascot naps. Remember we did the one word pinhooker guy for the Grand National.
How could I forget?
That was a treat, wasn't it? That was absolute madness, wasn't it?
was. It became
Barry was
one-
brilliant during that, wasn't he? Barry Orr, he was really quite taking it quite seriously.
Keith
Keith Melrose, I think it kept him up all night previously doing this. He actually had them written out. He came in absolutely buzzing about it. The Quizmaster. We took it as a bit of a crack, didn't we? But
It was probably the hardest thing I've had to do in this studio. It was like I was like, oh yeah, God, yeah, okay. There's 40 runners here, one word. It's quite
great fun.
Once
though,
you've
that,
used the obvious 10 words,
yeah,
start to run out of them.
yeah.
But
So, listen, I just want to play devil's advocate a little bit. Let's have a little think about this. Now, John Gosden has come out, great read in the Racing Post, wasn't it, with his son, Thady. We think he's called Thady, not Thady. And he basically said this is, we're weak, we're vulnerable. Are they bringing this chap back to take them to the Art, to take them to the Breeders' Cup? Have they got anything else?
Hoping.
Mishriff, obviously.
Yeah. Well, Mishriff's one of the best horses in the world, but yeah, Logician, hoping.
Palace Pier. People will be going, they've got
That
Palace
is,
Pier,
yeah.
Dave. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Middle distance, turf horses, they need them, the strength. Don't they? No Enable this year, of course.
In the last few years, we've seen them dominate, haven't we? Every division, basically. John Gosden has a runner in there. This year, they don't have the same depth, but they have good horses.
Yeah.
Palace Pier is the best miler in the world, in my opinion. Some will say Golden 60. I think Palace Pier is. Logician, I think, is more of a hope rather than we're going to go to these races. But they kind of need that hope with the lack of depth, I think.
If you look into Logician's form, actually, you could pick it apart, bar the Ron Priestley demolition job in the St Leger. Even when he won at York, I was there that day when he won his trial at the St Leger, and he beat a horse called Constantinople, who looked a bit boatish that day and is now running in Australia without great success. Melbourne Cup horse, basically. So look, you could pick holes, but there's no doubting that is quite a strong.
let's be honest though, you could pick holes in Al Arzi's form. 3 horses have come out of that and got
Yes.
beat out of sight at Ascot next time out. You could pick holes in Thunderous
of course.
form. This is what I don't like about these races in this kind of mile and a half Group 2, Group 3 division is you're looking for something to rise out of it and turn up as a King George potential. Then a lot of the time they just end up being frustrating, muddling little races. But yeah, so you can pick holes in pretty much everything's form in here.
Do you know who Al Arzi got beaten by on debut?
Tom Collins.
Tom Collins! It was Tom Collins that beat him. Honestly, whenever that turns up next, it's going to be a 10-pointer, let me tell you. Happy days. All right, great stuff. Listen, we're not far away from the Aston Park Stakes. Some really good horses have won this in the last 10 years. Shall I give you the roll call? It's great to look down, isn't it? We'll go up. 10,011, Drunken Sailor. I don't remember that was Luca Kamani. How are Fez? Again, I said some great horses have won this. We're struggling to remember.
Gotta get to
Winning
2015
Mount
first.
Athos. Don't worry, it's getting better. Mount Athos was a good horse from Michael Botti, of course. Telescope.
There we go.
Hawkbill. Crystal Ocean the last twice. So this goes to a group, and it's become a Group 1 stepping stone. I think it'll be at Al Arzi.
It has become a Group 1 episode, but you're right. But you look at a few of them and you think, Astronarius.
Drunken Sailor.
Drunken Sailor.
I mean, I really don't remember that at all. Who did he beat that year? Let's have a little look. Oh, it's Polly's Marc, who I do remember, of course, but we are going back a little bit, of course. Long-standing, traditionally...
It beat Akmal. I remember Akmal was one of my
It's usually a
favourite.
small field here, isn't it? Akmal,
Yeah.
John Dunlop's, of
John
course.
Dunlop, Richard Hill's front runner, go to Sandown, bish bash bosh, job done.
We never used to worry about pacing races when Richard Hills was around, would we? No,
Exactly.
Just knew what he was going to do. Just get out there and go. So it's usually a small field, this. So they tend to get racing down the middle of the track, don't they? Run about 3 furlongs out. I think that Al Arzi will have the best turn of foot. He's got to, of course, give £300 away to Logician. Good luck wherever you're playing out there. He looks a picture as well, Al Arzi, as usual. A beautiful model. William Haggis has called him in the past, and you could just got the glint in the eye from William yesterday when chatting to him. Marc Hryhorskyj, is he going to go odds on at all?
Alassi, it was trading around 1.9. They were queuing up there, but a wee bit of money. Layers came out there to play. It's currently even money, just bouncing out to 2.02 at the moment. Logician sort of bouncing between 3.1 and 3.9, around 9 to 4. Thunderous is quite solid, around 9.6, 9.4. But yeah, I think this race, if you're backing Logician here, you're sort of hoping that it can sort of find that old form. But I think there's a wee bit of money coming for now, around 2 to 1. But I think I think we've got the value in the place lay here.
All right. Okay. So basically, all taking on Logician, all happy to.
I think you have to at the
I mean,
price.
I picked him early because I think at the
Oh, you've gone for him.
Well, yeah, but it's because I didn't really have a fancy in this race, and I do
Gills
think
went for him yesterday. He said if there was a play spot, let me just tell you, I would banker Al-Azi. But at the prices, £3.
That's a fair point.
If he comes back.
I mean, put it this way, I think towards the end of the season, I don't know, an Irish St Ledger or something like that, he can, I think he will win a Group 1.
It's become a tragic race, that, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly.
That is not a Group 1, is it?
It is on paper.
It is on paper. Well,
there's
we have a few of them.
There are cases to be made for Logician being a good price and a bad price, I think, in this race, which makes him so hard to bet. He's a good price on his.
This is the main problem with this race in terms of a betting angle. Is if Logician bounces back to his 3-year-old form and comes up the way he did that, then
he's a great price.
Then he wins.
He's going to win, Marc.
Easily. So.
He could potentially absolutely hack up here or be tailed off.
It's an egg-on-face type moment, isn't it? We could be having.
But a lot of that so far today, unfortunately. But yeah, I think he's either going to absolutely hack up or he's going to be out the free.
Well, this is the thing with Betfair, Marc. It's a back to win later place is sometimes especially Frankie Dettori does have a bit of a reputation for we've got beaten, so let's be easy on the horse.
They're about to go off then. Is it the match that we wanted to see? Will Thunderous have something to say about that? Maybe Rainbow Dreamer can bounce back. Over to Ross Brierley to call home the Aston Park Stakes.
Let's see how they go early doors. Will we get a truly run race for once in a small field? Let's find out. Ranchand and Thunderous jump out, and there is a gap between those and the other three. So in theory, they should be run at a fairly decent gallop, but as soon as I said that, they started to slow it down a bit. But Thunderous goes on to take up the running under Ryan Moore from Ranchand in second, Logician back in third with Rainbow Dreamer on the inside, and Al-Azi having absolutely nothing to do with the early fractions. Logician is a bit fresh, as you would expect from a horse who's making his seasonal reappearance and had such a frustrating campaign last year. Rainbow Dreamer's on the inside, which I don't think is the best part of the track to be on at the moment. Thunderous out in front, Ranchand and Logician and Al-Azi. And Jim Crowley looks like he's going to try and execute exactly the same tactics that he did last time out, although they're probably going a bit slower than they did there.
Yeah, they're going a little bit slower today. A point to relate to the previous Carnarvon Stakes at Newbury. The first furlong in this race was quicker than the first furlong in that 6 furlong listed race. So that's how slow they were.
Once again, Ryan Moore finds himself up front in the Highclere colours.
Yeah. But again, Newbury, it's a hell of a long way home on this round track at Newbury for front runners. So you can turn into the home straight looking like you've got the field cooked. And is that a deer? A deer just bounded across the two. Female deer.
He nailed it. He absolutely nailed it. OK, so listen, Marc Hryhorskyj, we're on the far side. We're nearing that sweeping bend. What is the market like?
Lassie, 1.7 and running here. Logician, quite free. That one's out to 5 to 2 and 11 to 4. Thunderous, 14s, and Ranchand around 14s as well. But they do like the favourite of Jim Crowley, Lassie here, 1.65 at the moment. Logician, 3.2. But yeah, they're going very slow here. They've got a lot to play. But Logician's just sort of made the run through there. We'll see how much is in the tank here. Okie dokie.
This is where the big two go for it then, Ross. They've peeled off the far side.
Yeah, they have, which is usually the best place to be. Again, the middle of the track is probably the best. Thunderous is being rousted along, and that front-running style has not suited him at all.
He had a look there, Frankie, didn't he?
This is how Jim Crowley would have dreamt about this race.
Look at this.
Al-Azi is travelling all over them. Logician, though, still plugging on. Remember, he does stale a mile and 6. Ranchand down the centre stage, about 2 miles as well. Thunderous on the far side is still plugging on, to be fair.
What does he find? That's the question.
Al-Azi
doesn't even need to come off the bridle.
Come off the bridle.
Look at this. This is Archibald.
Thunderous, to be fair, is coming back as well, but Al-Azi is in front. Thunderous might actually stay on for second here. Logician, Frankie Dettori, we want him to be eased down here, Marc, and I think he's going to get away with it. In front, though, Al-Azi has cantered home to beat Thunderous. Logician, given an easy time late on into third, and Al-Azi has absolutely bolted up. Has he beat much? No. Has he won it on the bridle? Yes.
Has he beat much? Hang on a minute.
Right.
Let's go to the jury here. Hang on, he's beaten a St Ledger winner and he's been a Dante winner. What are you on about? On the bridle?
Okay, yes. On paper, he has, but Thunderous was off the bridle before the home turn and was readily passed by Logician and Al-Azi. Logician has clearly not finished his race. He was blowing, wasn't he, at the end?
Yeah.
Frankie was taking easy.
I think they'll be fairly happy with Logician, despite the fact he's not placed in the top two.
He's still got visibility,
now,
right?
Isn't he? He was very, very keen. He probably he looked like he might even be a stayer in the making.
I just don't. I think he's lost the edge that made him a Group 1 horse. You know,
He might well be right. Is Ranchand a little bit close for comfort there, Ross?
Well, that's what I mean about the overall level of the form. I think every other horse in that race has had something go against it. Thunderous has run, to be fair, a bit of a blinder, given that he's been off the bridle for half the race.
He's a 2-miler, I think, Thunderous.
They need to go and get Goodwood Cup type scenario. They've got so many, though, haven't they? You know, they've got Naif Road and they've got Saron Priest, who both saw the backside of Logician in the St Ledger a couple of years ago. Maybe that'll force them to do it. Marc Hryhorskyj, back in the game, my man. Third time lucky. You knew about Logician.
Yeah, we were just unfortunate we couldn't get Logician out of the 3 there. Ranch Hand staying
Of course, you did the 3 places, Marc, didn't you?
Yeah, 2 and a 3. I took a chance, obviously made a small profit on the 2-place market there, but that's the way I thought the race was going to unfold. Lassie, very, very impressive there. Didn't trade above even money in the run there. The stress signals were out with Frankie on Logician. About 2 out for me. Thunderous stayed on well, definitely 1 for future. But yeah, Lassie as well. Absolutely hacked. It was 101 at the 2 pole, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm delighted. It will be Commonwealth Cup next. Not Commonwealth Cup, sorry, Coronation Cup.
I don't think it will. I'm
getting my cups mixed up. There's another Watford supporter. We don't see a lot of cups.
Air Gold Cup?
He had the winner of that last year as well. I'm delighted for the team because they thought they'd lost him a little bit, and he's come back and he's just mustard.
I tell you what I would have loved to have seen, and I think this every time a horseman's on the bridle. I just want to see what he's got left. Go on, just nudge him out a little bit. You don't need to use the whip or anything.
Show he's got something under the bonnet though at Newbury last time.
Yeah, definitely. But this is obviously a much stronger opposition on paper. Stronger opposition.
Team Ballydor will be thinking. I don't think we're going to be. We've got something to reckon with there. He's a proper Group 1 horse. This, come on.
Dave, we're 2-1 for the Coronation Cup bet for a short 6-4 in places. So there's a bit of value there. 12-1 for the Arc as well.
Who's the main danger in that market, Marc?
Probably Lassie himself. I mean, as you say, like you want to see what this one finds off the bridle. Obviously, does have a strong pace, but 2-1 for the Coronation Cup best price was 6-4 with a bit of victory. But we're 2-1, 12 for the Arc for sure.
I tell you what, that's what we get here on this show. Listen, we are dictated to improvisation here. We're dictated to by the racing, the conversation as well. I was on it. I was so impressed. William Agostodis yesterday. This is pretty much a moral. He's gone and delivered on the bridle, and yet. The analysts, they're pouring a bit of cold water.
No.
That's what you're supposed to... No, I'm not throwing you under the bus. All 3 of you did it. I'm suggesting that... look, the first rule of analysis is try and find the chinks.
Yeah.
And then if you can't find any, you can gush away.
I'm immediately pessimistic about any performance. And if I find myself being optimistic...
That's very unlike you, Thomas, isn't it?
I'm optimistic beforehand and then pessimistic after. If I'm optimistic after, then I look at myself and think, why am I optimistic? Because you've got to analyse, be negative, and if there's...
Who's the Ballydor horse in the Commonwealth Cup?
All of them.
Yeah,
literally, they've got Broome, they've got Armoury, they've got
None of them worry me.
They've got Japan.
None of them worry me. None of them worry me.
They've got pretty much half the stable is entered in the Coronation Cup.
In the Coronation Cup. Of course, Friday the 4th of June, we'll be bringing that to you here on Betfair Live. Wasn't that a treat? Were you on Al-Azi? Did some of you perhaps take the double, him and Palace Pier? Palace Pier coming up in around about an hour's time. The poster boy of the mile division. We pop back next to the Newbury for the London Gold Cup, one of the best flat handicaps. Certainly early season you're going to get. We've seen some superstars win it. Group horses in handicaps. Looks like a deep field, doesn't it? Let us know who wins the 3 o'clock at Newbury. But we must pop back to Newmarket. Sizzling after Al-Azi there. The guys say the race fell apart a little bit. Don't go too hot on him just yet.
He has come from last to first in a slowly run race.
No, you're
on the
changing
bridle.
the tune there, bro.
No. I'm saying what we said, the exact words we said were he hasn't beaten anything. And I stand by that.
You
but
said that. Can I just put it on record?
He was impressive in doing it, but the form, the form isn't. He didn't literally beat a really good St Ledger winner on top of his form and a Dante winner on top of his form. He beat 2 horses that one needs a longer trip and one's been disappointing.
We're having a great afternoon, aren't we? Here, can I give you a quote?
He's beat a hurdler. He's beat a winning novice hurdler.
I said Archibald, didn't I, when he came through? It was like, it's great to see them when they win like that, though, isn't it? Let's face it. And William Agus will be buzzing about that. Can't wait to see what William says afterwards. But a quote for Creative Force. James Doyle, our first race, the 150. Charlie said he's definitely better with targets, so he's a horse that definitely needs a lead. We saw that, didn't we? A stiff 7 at Ascot might be a little bit far for him. Now, they are obviously toying with the idea of the jersey because there are no entries out yet for the jersey. That he's not, of course, in the Commonwealth Cup, as I mentioned, but James says, I think 6 is absolutely ideal for putting a little bit of pressure on for that supplementary, basically. Lee Moss has said, of course, thank you for that.
But bearing in mind, I know obviously it's a different track, but he's 3 from 3 at Newmarket.
Yeah.
So surely a July Cup has to be on the agenda as well.
A July Cup?
Yeah.
For Creative Force?
Yeah.
Love it. There you go. Isn't this an exciting time of year? It really is. Keep your Royal Ascot bankers coming in. What have you seen? Something from York, maybe something. What about the American horses? Perhaps we could get a word from TC on that. We've got Wes Ward coming back over, of course. Woo! Exciting time. All right, let's move on then. Okay, right. I should also say that Spotlights are 3 from 3 at Newbury. Spotlights, listen, we're giving you all this free content here on Racing Post Live. Of course, if you're not on the members section, why not? But this is free content and you're getting it all in that little box down there, which shows you your result. Okay, and there it is. Al-Azi, Thunderous and Logician. We must move on then. Of course, we've got the 240 at Newmarket coming up. Keep your socials coming in. We'll give them plenty of mention at some point during the show. Don't worry about that. The boys in gallery are having a great time. I can see them jumping up and down, so it must be a fun afternoon. Myself, Dave Orton, Ross Brierley, Tom Collins and Marc Hryhorskyj from Betfair. And Marc, Belosa, 1 win. Is she the real deal?
Yeah, just before we jump on it, I'm just having a look at the Lockinge Stakes. I'm actually surprised that Palace Beer hasn't drifted a little bit. With that Gosling form, still 1.64. I could probably see that one going off maybe 1.7, 1.8 on the off. But yeah, just going back to that run from I think it was Belosa. I thought she was quite impressive on debut at Newmarket, but not unexpected. 25 to 1 and at 7 to 2. Definitely knew her job on debut. I think she's a bit short here, taking on the boys. Genuinely, in my opinion, I think it was a bit of an egg and spoon race for Newmarket, if I'm being honest with you. Highest time form rated in behind was 74. Managed to bag that rail early, and everything behind looked green and pretty average, if I'm being honest with you. I know there's been a noises coming out yards regarding Belosa and who this one's working with, but I think this one's too short. Richard Kingscote on board as well, a jockey that I can never catch right. Remember I backed one of his Stuart Williams breathtaking look at Chelmsford in a maiden. Got it out of the placings, thought it was an absolute cert, went on to win a Group 3 off 108. So very difficult jockey for me to back for win purposes. So I'm happy to lay Belosa in the win market here, currently around. I prefer about a 2 to 1, but I'm happy with 3.3 here, around the 4 to 9, 2 to 5 mark. So we'll have a £50 lay on Belosa in the win market here.
Wow. Okay. So there you go. Laying Belosa. Marc Hryhorskyj from Betfair. He's on a bit of a roll now after Logician as well. You've got time to react to that. TC, let's get the tips before I fill you in a bit of housekeeping.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the favourite. I don't really like putting up favourites in every race, but I like Belosa in here. She's been working really well with Ambassadorial, who Marc was referring to, 104 rated. Obviously, Belosa's only a 3-year-old. She only had 1 start. She was so professional. She didn't even handle the undulations on her debut, and she still came away to win by 7 lengths. They knew she was 25 into 7 to 2. Yeah. Yes, she beat nothing, but you don't need a horse to beat something, right? And to like the horse. She won by 7 lengths. She showed great authority. She just beat who she was against. Didn't need to be a superstar in there. Now, I don't think the boys in this race are good at all. I mean, Devil Waller, yes, is running Group 1s. Ran in the Guineas last time. Blinkers have been applied. I really like Ross Orion. I think he's one of the leading top 3 jockeys. I keep raving about him.
I'll doff the cap a little bit to you, TC, because you put yourself on that one winter time, didn't you, basically?
Yeah.
And Ross Orion, this week in particular, has shown what a star in the ascendancy he is.
He is brilliant. I genuinely think he's a top 3 jockey at this point in time, and he doesn't even have he rides for Rafe Beckett and he has
he's
other
ridden
links.
Bearing in mind, he's ridden at Ascot, Salisbury, Newbury, York, Windsor, Newmarket. In the past 2 weeks, he's ridden 9 winners from 40 rides.
He's so good. He's great on the pace. He's great off the pace. He's got the poise of Jamie Spencer, but the strength of Ryan Moore. He's like the.
He looks like Jim Crowley Mark II to me.
Better Jim Crowley.
Better than
Yeah,
Jim Crowley.
definitely.
Unbelievable.
I think so.
That's the youth movement there, isn't it? So Ross Orion, he'll do for TC. I want to come to you, Ross, because this is a race where you're taking a slight angle.
Yeah, I've played. This is the 1 or 2 races I've played properly. I've backed Fundamental and Cloudbridge, and I've boxed those 2 up with Thank You Next in forecasts because I think there's a potential here for Devil Waller and Belosa to cut each other's throats. Devil Waller is a blinkered first-time sprinter whose best form comes over 6 or... It did run well behind St Mark's Basilica over 7 here at the back end of last season, but did bag the rail and got the run of the race. Belosa, we were talking about this earlier on, the horses who make the running first time out, if you do try and change those tactics second time out, they can sometimes resent that a little bit. So I think those 2 might well take each other on. You've also got the outside of the lot, Bellissime, who's front run twice in 3 runs. So this, in theory, should set it up. Fundamental was on the wrong side in the Greenham. and this horse likes a strong pace to chase. And Cloudbridge, really impressive last year, sent off even money favourite for the Aiken
We had a little
Stakes.
delve into his pedigree, though, didn't we? We're not sure about the ground for him.
Sire side,
It's not weather.
negative. Dam side,
positive. Okay.
The Dam won on soft ground. So
And they might know what they're doing, this Charlie Appleby operation, might they?
first time out
Sorry,
Appleby.
Go on, Marc.
They're absolutely queuing up here to back this Belosa on the win market here. 2.78 to 2.68. They can't get enough of this.
Love
This
it.
could easily go off around the 6 to 4 mark. The noises. They've definitely got the money on this one. It looks like the backers.
Thank you, Mark, for that. Isn't it interesting? So, look, you can see the market on the screen there, but again, if you're looking at the exchange, you can see all the weight of money for the lay or the play. Mark says Belosa is hot, hot, hot. You say that she might resent if they change the tactics. That doesn't mean they're not going to change tactics.
No, it doesn't.
And we'll see. It's Devil Wilder for me. It's on the Dewhurst run, soft ground back. Really, really like that. Ross Orion, happy days. And I mean, listen, I think if he gets a freebie in the first time biggies, he definitely wins this. So the first 2 furlongs for me and Devil Wilder will be key.
But this is what I've liked about York all week, is that you pretty much know how York races are going to be run every single time. It's very rare. The sprint track, they blast off in front. The round track, that you want to be 7 furlongs, you want to be on the speed, but anything else, you want to be.
This is a different model, you're saying.
We've seen it all day today, where it's been fiddly little. We've got 5, 6, 7 runner races.
It's about to change.
I think in the case of Belosa, she led on debut because she just had such a high cruising speed compared to her rivals.
And they probably said, "This, we know this is a listed horse."
Exactly. You might as well just send her out and don't put her in traffic. She looks like she's not the easiest conveyance. She's a bit temperamental, but she's got so much ability here. I just think she's up against horses here that are average, basically.
You might be right. We might turn around and go, "Oh, crikey, we're on the wrong end of."
Another question about Cloudbridge for you. He hangs left, I find.
Yeah.
And at Newmarket, I don't like horses that
He
hang.
did hang left, TC. He wore a hood last year. He was a bit of a nutter, wasn't he?
The hood is off.
He's back with that. I don't know. So let's see. We've got to see a different
they've
model.
given the snip. And Charlie, I think he's a first time out.
He could,
he's a can of pop, isn't he? He's a shaking him up can of pop. First time out, you might see, but he is having a little stomp down at the start, having a bit of a hissy fit. But just a quick word, by the way, on Thank You Next, who's run twice at Newmarket, first and second to Saffron Beach.
Big eye catcher, one of those occasions, wasn't he?
Well, it was at Doncaster last year in that new mandate race that worked out really, really well. New
the
mandate,
one ruler.
Lots of horses in there. That horse came from last to fifth.
We covered that. Do you remember? I remember being in with you that day when we did that. He was a big eye catcher.
And you really wanted to be in that race, far side on the speed, and she was completely opposite. I think she'll probably run on for second or third, but she's by no never. She'll relish the conditions. And we've seen Al-Azi is just another horse. We've just seen horses for courses.
Last one going in then, Ross Brierley, definitely taking a few opinions on this race. Good luck wherever you're playing in the 240 at Newmarket.
They're off and racing for this 7 furlong contest then, and the blinkered first time Devil Wilder unsurprisingly out in front. Belosa also keen to get on with things, and Bellissime just in behind. Fundamental on the far side, Cloudbridge on the near side. Thank You Net's got a nice sit. They have split into 2 columns. 6 runner races, 2 columns. Welcome to Newmarket, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got Belosa and Devil Wilder not taking each other on, but both going out in front. Cloudbridge is refusing to settle. Thank You Nets has got a nice position. Fundamental out the back. Bellissime, if it wasn't such an outsider, would probably have the best position here. But Belosa, we were talking about, I said before, these two might take each other on. Because they've split, that's not happening.
It's a clever move, this TC, isn't it, by both Kingscote and Ross Orion. They know they don't want to get into a battle, so they've split.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like the far side are 3 lengths ahead, 2 lengths ahead at this stage.
I think she wins now, doesn't she?
I think
Cloudbridge making a move.
Definitely the one to beat, that's for sure. Fundamental's coming through with a run. Cloudbridge is coming through with a run. Thank You Next. But if she finds what she did last time, she's going to win this. But Fundamental has come under a chance here and is throwing down a challenge.
Fundamental's a miler too. He'll
Fundamental. But the big story of the race is that split, and that has made a big difference here. Belosa's still in front now. Has won over course and distance, and is finding plenty and has been having the run of the race. Fundamental in behind is picking up a little bit, but Belosa is still in front, hanging towards this near side rail, starting to tire up a little bit. Fundamental throwing down a late challenge, but the race just worked out perfectly for her. Fundamental throwing down one last challenge, but she ended up getting an easy time out in front and has beat Fundamental into second.
Congratulations. If you went with Paul Keeley's banker of this Saturday on the website and in the members section, you'd have seen that. Belosa then, TC all over it. TC, a clever move by Richard Kingscote because she settled after about a furlong, and despite the fact she's ended up on the far side, on the near side, she started on the far side. She's been all over the track. That means she's got loads more to come, right?
Yeah, she's got such a high cruising speed early that she was able to outspeed Devil Waller. Now, Devil Waller's not a slow horse, and she was doing it within her own comfort zone. Again, she didn't handle the undulation. She hung left on her debut when the dip came. She did the same today. When they get on a more galloping track, she'll be even better. I think she's a really exciting horse. And for a trainer in Jane Chapelheim who's had good horses but not many in the past, and it's good to see her getting Belosa. Also, when Belosa gets put up into a race with more depth, she's going to go off a reasonable price because she doesn't represent John Gosden or whatnot. So one to keep definitely on side, especially when they change track with her.
You get the feeling that Atward, the sire, is just starting to warm up a little bit as well. I think he had a pattern winner at York, didn't he? Then he's got another one there. She's in the Coronation Stakes at Royal Ascot. We'll find out whether that will be the place to go. I wanted to take her on Marc Hryhorskyj. You were the same.
Yeah, it was never in doubt, and I think actually splitting definitely benefited her. Still very green in front. I still think there's a little bit of improvement there, so definitely living up to the hype. I was actually quite surprised that Fundamentals actually hit even money again in running, and to me never really looked like an even money shot. Belosa was 2's on, 1.5, 2 out. Done it really well, and obviously the Richard Kingscote bandwagon keeps going on for me, unfortunately. But let's see if we can get another winner in the next race.
Will she get a mile mark, do you think? She's in the Coronation Stakes. Do we have a price for her on the sportsbook of that? I thought she was short enough for that, I thought.
Yeah, I'll just refresh that for you. I think if she manages to settle a bit better, it's definitely one to keep an eye on. And obviously looking at the Coronation Cup you're looking for right now?
The Coronation Stakes.
The Coronation Stakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commonwealth, we need to get these
We're getting these cups wrong, aren't we? I mean, it's like all of a sudden it'll be Carabao next, won't it?
Yeah. I'm just loading it up just now.
I'm glad someone else has done that, actually.
I think she's about 20, so maybe a bit shorter.
A little bit shorter, I think. I can see her being... I'm going to suggest that she's into 12s for that now.
Potentially. I just wouldn't go a mile with her. She's got such
Jersey
a high,
again, surely.
Yeah, such a high cruising speed. Why would you want to step her up and trip?
I thought she might be in the Commonwealth Cup. She's not in that.
Fillies have a really good record in the Jersey. So.
There's a race on Derby weekend, isn't there, for fillies? Is there like a Princess Margaret or something like that?
Oh,
At Epsom?
Yeah.
At Epsom.
I wouldn't go to Epsom with her, though.
You think she'd run all over the place?
Yeah, she'll hang down the camber 100%.
I
mean, but again, I know we're talking about analysts picking holes in form. There were 6 runners there. They broke into 2 groups. The first 3 home were in one group. The last 3 home were in the other group.
Yeah.
And that's, again, there's something you've got to bear in mind when looking at the race. And one of those horses who was in the winning group was a 50-1 completely unconsidered outsider who's come home third and has beat the rest by miles.
So she's got to keep improving to make that grade, hasn't she? But listen, so far 2 from 2. Jane Chapelheim's got a real nice model on her hands there. Marc, did you get a price for the Coronation Stakes?
Yeah, I'm still trying to find one.
I'll leave that with you, old boy. Don't worry. You take a bit of time on that. Do not worry. So look, we're having fun this afternoon. We're having a good old crack as usual, and we've still got 3 top races to come. And if you're worried about small tactical fields, fear not. We've got the London Gold Cup coming up next. We come back for a sprint. It'll be fast and furious, we hope. In the last race, we bring you from Newmarket, and then it is the Lockinge. And I want to concentrate on something that Marc Hryhorskyj said about that. What do you think out there about the Gosden and Frankie form? Not quite matching up so far, aren't they? Will Palace Pier be a drifter? Of course, Fundamental ran well there at Newmarket, but we are talking about Group 1 animals coming up, 3:35, our final race for you this afternoon. Great stuff then, isn't it? And of course, keep your Royal Ascot hopes in. Keep them coming. TC, someone asked me about a Wes Ward horse. Can I have a look at it? Something that won at Kingland. It's probably one of the favourites. I can't remember the name of it. But
Was it Ruthin?
That's it.
Yeah, she's very exciting. I was watching her works, which is a great benefit.
How do we spell it? Ruthin, is it?
Ruthin, yeah, Ruthin. Watching works is such a great...
Where can people get a look at that, TC? Could we go
the replay?
Go to YouTube or something
at
like
theraces.com, they have the replay of Ruthin.
Brilliant.
Watching the works for her debut, she was scintillating over 3-4 furlongs. And then on debut, she was so good. Quick out the start in stalls. Wes Ward has always touted her as the best filly that he has. she was so good. She hung right, which is a slight worry, but she will be faster than any of them in the Queen Mary.
Isn't it so exciting to have Wes Ward coming back? One of the stories of last year for me was Wes managing to win at Royal Ascot with Campanelle, despite the problems of getting horses over. Again, going back to my chat with William Haggish yesterday, he basically said, like Melbourne, we don't think France want us to come over at the moment. That's pretty much what he said. They make it very difficult for horses to go over. French Classics tomorrow, of course. Poetic Flare and Mother Earth, both are winners of our Guineas. Go over for that. Can't wait for that. But Wes Ward, it's just hand in hand.
Without
he
Ward,
turns up in June and must win.
Without Ward, Royal Ascot is not the same. You don't get those 5 furlong,
international
2-year-olds.
flavour.
Exactly. Even in the Preakness tonight, we've got a Japanese runner. Like, you don't see that often. It adds an extra.
I've got so much time for Nick Smith at Ascot. He's top guy, Nick, and he's got the job in racing in New York. He did before the pandemic hit, of course. He'll be back. Where he just went around the world wooing connections and trying to get all these titles. It doesn't sound absolutely awful. He's not aged. He's not aged at all, Nick Smith, and you know why. He's in first class, going around with the eye mask on the whole time and eating Japanese food everywhere. But it's been a real challenge for them to get these international horses over, not just because of prize money is better elsewhere, in that league, but also, the pandemic challenges we've had.
And it's not only good for just the punters who are looking for really good horses, but it's great for horse racing in general to get out to wider audiences in America and over here. When Wes Ward has a runner and he wins, sometimes you'll see it on mainstream news, BBC Sport, whatever. We'll put it on there. And when we have runners at Breeders' Cup and they win in the US, then it's a big deal. So it's great for horse racing in general to have the international flavour. Yeah.
Okay. Great stuff. Listen. So, Ruthin. Get on, basically. Was she turn up for
Queen Mary? Yeah, I think she's pretty much a good thing.
Lady Aurelia, Acapulco.
I reckon she's in those kind of that calibre. She's very quick.
When did you first get on board the Wes Ward bandwagon? Was it Jealous Again, which was his first?
I've never been aboard the Wes Ward bandwagon. No, because it's not that I'm not against it. It's just that
you don't know.
Well, you don't know, and also the market goes, this is a speedball. Let's put it 2-1. And it'll drift out to 8-1 at some point during the day, and then it'll come back into 3s. I actually play the race and just ignore his runners, and if they win, they win.
You're just hoping there's no rain if you fancy any Ward horses.
Well, Lady Aurelia, listen, we could go on about this forever.
Kamari
Lady Aurelia, I was there that day, and it bucketed down. I got to spend some time with Wes that week, and he was still so confident, and it absolutely hosed up, didn't it? So you just don't know. Okay, so listen. Spotlights, they are 4 from 4 on RP Live this afternoon. Congratulations to that team out there so far. Can they make it 5 from 5 with Bay Bridge in the London Gold Cup? And Marc Hryhorskyj, I've got a feeling this is the race that you've really been looking forward to.
Yeah, have you been looking at my homework, Dave?
I've got a drone outside.
yeah. Let's hope it's not 5 from 5 here, because I actually like the outsider here, Fountain Cross. Currently 100 poke on Betfair. I don't know if this one's lost a leg, but just looking at the race here, I thought Tambarada was painfully obvious here. Ground will suit. Like the way this one moves. The style of win at Doncaster, second and third ran well last time out. But there's 2 alike in this race, so I'm going to Dutch 2 in this race. First one is Hugo Palmer's Oz Legend. I thought it was interesting the price here. There's bigger prices during the week, around 12 to 1, 11 to 1. It's 9.4 on the machine right now. I managed to pinch a bit of 10 to 1 during the week, but that form of that Newcastle maiden win on the 1st of December is working out really well. The second, Council, was just denied next time out. The third, Fireworks, was second to the impressive Darab yesterday at Newmarket. The fourth, won next time out at Redcar. The fifth went down on next time out, and the sixth absolutely hacked up. You can see where this one's going, but could be absolutely thrown in here off 82. The Hugo Palmer stable's 2 from 9 right now as well, so 22%. So I'll have the first bet is going to be on Oz Legend. We'll have a £25 win at 9.6.
Yeah, that's matched.
Yeah. And the second one is Fountain Cross. Richard Hannon, Smarrin Dwyer takes the ride. I'm genuinely surprised at the price of this one. Much improved effort last time out behind River Alwyn at Newmarket on the 2nd of May. Stepped up from 7 to 1 mile 2 first time. I thought this one ran really well. Again, over a mile 2 at Newbury. £5 better off with River Alwyn here, which is currently 16.5. The booking of Martin Dwyer, a positive. I just think this one's massively overpriced. I just think we'll have a £25 win on at 100s.
Things you love to see.
You love to see it, don't you? And I didn't think we were going to be seeing it. But listen, don't worry about 100 to 1 shot on this show. It has happened, of course. Some people still need to...
Has it?
Well, yeah, John Canoe went 100, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, quite. Because he did, yeah. I was like, who tipped that? Oh, yeah.
I wasn't expecting that sort of reaction. It seems like a long time ago now.
No, it was just, I just thought, oh, who tipped that? And then I thought, of course, you will never forget that moment.
Never underplay yourself, Brierley. Never underplay yourself. But Barry Orr, of course, has got in a Betfair SP on the show of 80-1. Marc Hryhorskyj knocked one out of the park as well. Couple still needing to get there, but don't worry about that. So, okay, Fountain Cross. You didn't think you were going to hear that from Marc Hryhorskyj. You've got time to play. We're around about 7 minutes away. It'll be 8 or 9, won't it? Can I give you a quick quote about Al-Arzi before we go on? Okay, let's have a look. Al-Arzi won very well. This is from William Agus and liked the ground. Settled well. That was the big key to get him to settle. Can't really say anything because he looks so well at home. He's a talented horse, as he told us on our feature shows yesterday. We'll find out in the Coronation Cup that comes next. Is that still on Friday of the Oaks meeting? Or did they move it to the Saturday? I can't remember. There was some hoo-ha about that, wasn't there?
I'm not too sure.
Anyway, it's
been a mover with Alassi as well. A lot of money. It's currently even money in some places now for the Coronation Cup.
Really? Wow. Well, listen, must be people watching this show because we're like, don't worry about Ballydor, just goes win. He's in the Arc. They put him in the Arc. Okay, they put this horse in the Arc. That will be a long-range target, and you sense that William. That's obviously the one they probably want to win, isn't it? But he fancies a mile 2 as well. Does that take to knock out the Jubmonte and things like that? He'll have to have a break at some point. Wasn't planning to run here today for Epsom, but he was so well at home. That's the monster, the Rolls Royce that we saw, Al-Arzi.
That's why another reason why I'd like to see him nudged out of the line, see how much he's got left in the tank for a step up and trip in the future. And also, what on earth happened in the Gordon Stakes last year when he finished 6th of 6?
Well, I think we have to put a line through that.
I know. Say he won that race, he would be the hype horse of the flat.
I'm sensing an expensive project here for UTC in taking on Al-Arzi.
I liked him today because of the pace setup. There was always going to be a fast gallop with Thunderous and Ranch Hand in there. I think he could be vulnerable at some stage. I don't know when. I wasn't happy to take him on today, but I probably will in the future, especially even money in the Coronation Stakes.
TC showing real professionalism, backs a winner, jumps off it for the future targets, and tends to pay out, doesn't it? We'll give him that one. Okay, let's go for the tips for the London Gold Cup. Are we all Baybridge?
Yeah, go to Ross. He loves this horse.
Go on then, Rossi. Off you go.
I won't steal his thunder.
He was so impressive at Newcastle. We've just seen a Newcastle winner in John Lee, but when you get a nice gallop at Newcastle, you learn a hell of a lot there. And they are getting stronger and stronger, those novice events up there. I think you could follow that race he won last time out and back every single one of those horses in there, and they will lead you to profit. There's already been a handicap winner out of it. Yeah. Al Nafud's had a really strong gallop, which Marc picked up on earlier, is a tough thing to do at Newcastle and get home. And Baybridge swept past him as if he wasn't there, recorded a speed figure that was one of the best 3-year-old novices I've had all season. Related to a 2-mile winner, will have absolutely no problems with stamina. I think this horse is. I just wrote my notes on the tracker were group horse. That's all I put.
Well, he is of course a group entered. He's in the King Edward the
93rd. Yeah,
exactly. At Ascot, which is the Ascot Derby, of course. Not in the Derby. I'm pretty sure, I had a word from connections, that they ran him at Newcastle when it was very dry. Yeah. And he's by New Bay, isn't he? So I think he's going to quite enjoy his ground.
And he's New Bay's 3-year-old handicap, as I look earlier. That's a really profitable angle this season.
You've got notes here, haven't you? It's unlike you. You've got
5 from 26, 19.2% strike rate, £6 level stake.
Did you run a query?
I did treat myself, yeah.
Did you spend your holiday looking at queries?
I spent the train down looking at queries.
I can only imagine you did. Raceform Interactive, of course, if you've got that programme, you know you love queries too, like Ross Brierley, and Baybridge was the top of the pile. You're agreeing though, TC, I saw it in your column this morning.
Yeah, he's in the punt. He's also in my Monday RFO column as well. I really fancy Baybridge. The price is kind of gone now. There's no value at, 11 to 4.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it, TC? I'm saying I was asked by Betfair for a tip yesterday. This is the one that I came up with. I had this down to 3. We're all Baybridge, by the way.
If he is a group horse in a handicap, then again, he's going to be one of those ones that's
probably going to be more than one group.
TC jumps in quite rightly.
I do think you're wrong, but the other day, people 7-2 is a bit.
Oh yeah, there's nothing
at the
wrong
end
with
of the season.
5-2, 11-4, 7-2 win or whatever. Yeah. He's going to improve for the switch to turf, isn't he? He stays the trip well.
Kills is on my Frankel because he thinks that Mark Johnson horse is in this race. If you read the must-read Sizzlers today, and he was telling me yesterday in this on a show I did with him that they all rate about £20 higher. So at some point, King Frankel will be 100 horse. He thinks historically. He won a bit of an egg and spoon race.
I think he needs further as well. Mile 4 maybe.
He didn't do it for me.
He'll win
Sands, I thought was
July
interesting.
Festival or Goodwood or anything.
Yeah.
He'll run a really good race here and win one of those.
How many group horses have we got lurking in here? Highland Rocker as well. He's been really easy to back, hasn't
Highland Rocker finished ahead of Bay Bridge last year in a Kempton novice event, which was won by subsequent UAE Derby winner Rebels Romance.
He did, but he was drawn
exactly
significantly better.
Yes, and his
just
2 runs
get the
this year
feeling with
not
these
as good as Bay
stout
Bridge.
horses, it's all about embryo into real shell, isn't it? And at some point, if you watch back in your replays, if you've seen Bay Bridge, he will come there looking like he's going to win. Tamburrado, I'm surprised is as big as he is. Now, I backed him last
I'll
time.
move here, Dave, for
go Mark.
Fountain Cross at 70s there a little bit.
Get out, Mark. Get out. Lay it back.
The master of self-promotion, Marc Hryhorskyj, is manipulating the exchange.
I just want to say, you were talking
Flying
about
drones at the same time, a talented man.
You were talking about big price. I mean, I'm still sore from it, but it is worth putting it back in as a lay because I backed 100 to 1 shot earlier on the exchange and it went 1.88.
You had to get a mention of
So-
that. You may just pick yourself up off the floor, that man. Let's
I'm
get a
still
social
sick.
in. Well, Ross Brierley still remembers their winner that he should have had. Okay, Chris Timms comes back and says, I've had a 5 places. I've had a 5 each way, 4 places.
Fountain Cross, that would be, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, 6 sixes. Okay, after Mark put that case forward. Chris Timms, following you in, Mark. You've got to get a bit of a following, man.
Got to use the exchange, get that 110s, and then bet the 4-place market as well. A little promotion there for the exchange.
He's just gone 80s on the course. So, but listen, we've seen this before. We know what. I'll tell you what, Marc Hryhorskyj, I'll give you the final furlong if this is leading, man. Let me tell you that the spotlights are 4 from 4. For the books are taking a bit of hammering today, guys, aren't they? A lot of the shorties are going in.
I mean, but it's that kind of day, isn't it?
Palace Pier to come. Mark, quickly, what price is Palace Pier in the Lockinge?
Currently 1.66. When we looked earlier, it was kind of about 1.64. So
Just over 1 to 2 then. Just over 1 to 2.
It's about 4 to 6.
Okay. Oh, about 4 to 6. That's a bit bigger than we might have thought. And again, once again, if you're new to this, the exchange, you always get a bigger price than you do with the industries out there as well. This is a sizzler. Remember when Time Test won this a couple of years ago and went and won at Hampton Court? Could we be seeing a Royal Ascot winner again in the London Gold Cup? Could we be seeing a real model? Let us know your Ascot selections. We'll be doing it in between this race, Newmarket, and before and after the Lockinge as well. We'll get a word on all your fancies out there. We know they are piling up. Great to have you with us this afternoon again here at RP Live. Free content, isn't it? Your way on YouTube, of course, Facebook Live, and anything Twitter. You're seeing all those social clips. React, let us know out there. Like and subscribe. Keep your feedback coming in. That's what keeps us here every Saturday, rocking and rolling for you. Okay, TC. So Bay Bridge, who's the biggest danger?
Well, I really like Oz Legend as a horse. He's in my tracker as well as Bay Bridge. I thought that run last time at Windsor was good. He finished 3rd, and that is another race where I think there's going to be loads of subsequent winners. He was won by Siskany, Godolphin's own horse. He's very exciting. Surefire for Rafe Beckett was a good second. The 6th Money Kenny's won since. Zickany finished 7th, finished 2nd since. So he's exiting a good race. He needs to step up again. He's probably going to be better in time. Whether he'll be good enough to win a London Gold Cup, I'm not sure, but he's the danger to Bay Bridge.
We're about to find that. Who's going to take gold with Ross Brierley?
Often racing them for the London Gold Cup, and Oz Legend just roused along early with Derby Sounds on the outside, and also Dejame Paso on the inside. Coming through is Greystoke, and finally we seem to have a decent pace to chase. In front, though, it is Greystoke for the Mick Shannon team, going on from Dejame Paso. On the inside, Oz Legend and Derby Sounds. Wide on the track here, Highland Rocker. Can Golston and Dettori get into the frame? Well, they're currently 3 or 4 wide round those bends. On the inside is King Frankel, Bay Bridge behind those in a nice position, but maybe a little bit keen. Then behind those we have Tamburrado, River Alwyn is second last, and last is Fountain Cross. So the 2 Hannon horses are giving the rest of them a bit of a head start, but so far the way Al-Azi won, that's probably not the worst thing to do. But Greystoke has taken it up and settled out in front under who else but Sylvester de Souza, front-running master, albeit at a track that doesn't necessarily suit it. But Bay Bridge has shortened quite dramatically here, Mark.
Mark, Bay Bridge.
Yeah, this one at
sticking
running,
with
yeah,
Fountain
it's
Cross.
2.86 right now.
My
running.
drone!
The money's definitely going for it, yeah. The Oz Legend's going quite well. The other selections currently 9 to 2 and running here. But definitely
Look at Bay Bridge. Here we go.
Yeah,
Come on then. I'll tell you what, Fountain Cross is still on the bridle, Mark. They've got a pace as well. He could just sneak into the places, you know. Come on then, Ross Brierley.
Yeah,
Who's going to win this? Baybridge is on the
Baybridge,
bridle.
hopefully. Please, Baybridge. Grace
Go on the Bay.
Baybridge coming through. River Alwen's got a chance. Debarry Sand's being pushed along.
needs a
King's
run.
Circle on the far
Go
side. He's going to get a
Go on
gap.
then, Ryan.
River Alwen, he's gone for the gap.
Go on, Ryan, get a gap. He's got it.
Tabarandi's
Hey, this is all over, isn't it? Come on, Ryan, push him
Don't
out.
call it too early, for the love of God. Coming out the back is Tabaranda.
Hastings.
Has hit the
My
front.
Frankel's the
Baybridge has
danger.
taken it up. My Frankel the danger.
Come on then, Ryan.
It's all over. Go on
Oh,
then.
go, Frankel,
This is it,
Baybridge.
Gamble landing.
Clears away.
Oh, we knew.
In a handicap. Baybridge,
Not
group horse
too
in a handicap,
far.
has gone on. No, far as you like. Far as you like.
Yes.
This horse wins a group race this year.
Step up and trip as well. Look how he's hitting the line.
Second, third, River Alwen, but Baybridge absolutely dots up.
Oh, yes, you could tell we enjoyed that one in the studio, not just because of the style of the performance. We gave it to you beforehand. We really fancied it in here. We napped it all over the place. I was asked for a tip yesterday on Betfair. Woo-hoo, we're in. Happy days. I'll tell you what, a little funny subplot here. I was doing a show with Paul Keeley yesterday, and we all had to say the naps, and he went for something called Tasman Bay, which was second to John Leaper in the 205 at Newmarket. And I was sort of scurrying around, you know, when people talk on these shows, you're presenting lots of things going on. And I didn't really listen to where it was running. And I went, well, I think in that case, I said, cheers, Kills, great argument, but John Leaper's my nap. And he went, you know, you're going against me, don't you? So we had to re-record. He messaged me this afternoon and said, sorry, mate, I denied you a nap. Don't worry, Kills. Baybridge was what I found myself on. I think you'll find it's a higher SP. Everyone's a winner. Happy days.
I genuinely think this horse could go on to be a harbinger kind of horse. I think it's genuinely possible. He's got an incredible
Harbinger?
Yeah, I think he's possible. Remember who trains him here. Next year, if he's this good now, this is 5 furlong 2-year-old territory for Sir Michael Stout. This is way too early in his career to be winning a race like that. He waits till they're 6 years
It's a
old.
Brocklesby for him.
Exactly, it is. These are too early days for the best of Baybridge. I think he's a really, really nice performer. It was a remarkable figure last time out, like I said, and he's got everything. He's got cruising speed. He's got back end stamina. He's got gears. And so far, he's done everything I've asked of him. And he has to go the other way around if he goes to Ascot. But I still think the way that track rides is perfect for him. He could, I'm going to follow him off a cliff. I'm going to follow him off a bridge.
Fair to say we might have a fanboy here, TC.
Yeah, no.
You've been pouring some cold water straight after races. I've got a feeling this isn't going to be one of them.
No, definitely not. I'm optimistic with this Baybridge. I think it's, as we've already mentioned, the London Gold Cup's a great race year after year. There's many subsequent winners coming out of the race. I think the third and fourth, River Alwen and Oz Legend, are both good horses. And Kills certainly wasn't wrong with King Frankel as well, finishing second. He'll be better over further. But I love the way he hit the line, Baybridge. That just suggests that he's going to relish a step up and
Got the knee action, isn't he, guys? That's one.
Yeah, he's got the speed for shorter, for a mile probably. I loved also how he managed to get through that gap and he
Come back on the bridle.
lost no momentum.
That's the bit that I liked, I think. Let's bring Marc Hryhorskyj here because I called it. Ross was like, got the crowd jewels on this man. Don't call it too soon. But Marc, you said it's all over, boys.
It was all over. It was 101 at the furlong pole, wasn't it? Didn't trade higher than around 4.25 around the Betfair SP there.
It was 6-4 into the home straight, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine you've had it right off there, Ross. But Oz Legends, he's currently only hit 4-1 and on. I thought it was a good ride from Kieran Neal with board Oz Legend there. And the Fountain Cross Dream, to be honest with you, that one looked cooked after the furlong.
Give it a lot to do, Marc, that, didn't he? Just way too far back, I think.
Maybe that one for another dream. But yeah, great selection there, Baybridge. Certainly one to keep on side.
And the spotlight selections on RP Live, 5 from 5. Who are they going for
having
next?
it right
Get
off
it up.
the favourite backers are having it right off this afternoon.
Yeah, and we've got 2 really solid ones to come, actually, haven't we? Jumbie in the next at Newmarket. There is your Betfair SP, though. You can see there, bigger than anywhere else. Of course it is on the sportsbook and indeed on the exchange. Well done if you rode in as well. Let us know if you thought the guys were absolutely onto the right thing there. Listen, we're backpacking, a bat slap backpacking. We're backslapping.
Let's go backpacking, sure.
Have you ever backpacked? You look like a man that's got a professional backpack.
No, I do love a good hike.
I've never backpacked, but I've definitely backslapped, to tell you that.
Have you ever hiked?
I haven't. I don't. But back to backslapping. I don't think there's anything wrong with backslapping. If you get something right, you're allowed to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But make sure you don't backslap whilst backpacking because it will hurt. You got all the stuff in the bag.
There's an image. I'd hate to go on a hike with Ross Brierley, wouldn't you? There's a pub at the end of it. Fair enough.
I'll bring you Kit Kats.
Okay.
You can have a little treat.
We'll fly. It'll fly along. It'll fly along. Okay, so listen, we're back slapping a little bit in here. We don't want you to all think, oh yeah, we're back to winner, aren't we clever? But let me tell you, when we go for a beer after the show, Ross Brierley will still be moaning about the 80-1 shot he backed in the first race.
And my nut being chinned on the line as well.
And yours in the, this is the game. We wear our hearts on our sleeves, we put our money where our mouth is. Talking of which, Marc, you've been doing that all afternoon for charity. You've got to play in every race because that's the game, right? So come on, who's going to get you back on track?
I was actually quite keen on Operatic. It's actually a non-earner here, but the way my form's been going, I took the wrong approach today. I thought this was the day to be taking on the favourites, but got it massively wrong. So I'm happy for Dave, you to take the selection here, one of you in the team. I say, but you don't have to bet on every race. And I'll take full responsibility when
so
it goes
we've
wrong.
got the charity play to ourselves in here.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, okay.
Should we see? Let's throw a few forward and see if we agree.
Let's throw a few forward. So look, this is a 6 furlong.
If you pick two each and then see who agrees.
Okay, all right. Well, I like. Look, Creative Force, the horse that won our first race, is key here, isn't he? And it's this time. Listen, we always say, when do you start looking at form lines seriously on the flat? Usually, it's after the Guineas. Some people say it's after the Dante. Some people say it's after the Derby. But I think that we can, with the 3-year-olds in particular, start looking now at form lines. Like, for example, anything that's run behind Bay Bridge, it's going to be a very short price, rightly so, next time, isn't it? So Jumbie is the horse in question that heads the market. Beaten an unlucky run behind Creative last time. Can I just speak about that winner, by the way? Lee Motter said has got in touch with me. Creative Force will not be going for the Commonwealth Cup. He's a gelding. And in 2020, before the running of that, they said no more geldings in the Commonwealth. Got the cup right this time.
You did.
Not the Carabao. He's got more chance of turning up in a Carabao Cup than he has in the Commonwealth Cup, basically. But so that it looks like Creative Force won't be running at Ascot unless Sheikh Mohammed fancies the jersey, which James Dawes poured a bit of cold water on. Anyway, he beat Jumbie last time. Jumbie was a little bit unlucky. There's been a topical horse in this office, I can tell you, because it was a time when Eve Johnson-Houghton wasn't having many winners. She hasn't had even much like since.
Chipotle was her only winner by that point.
Chipotle.
Yeah, Chipotle.
Chipotle? Fiery character.
Chipotle? Yeah.
I think Chipotle. Chipotle. Anyway, the Brocklesby winner has followed up. But Jumbie ran well. I think we can mark it up in lots of ways. Whether he'd have beaten Creative Force, I don't know. Right favourite, don't like the price. So I'm going to knock him out if you don't mind.
I agree with you.
I agree. But I think the Creative Force form is key, but I think the other handicap that he won was the better one. So I think your Bickerstaffs and your Perottos are much more interesting.
It's Perotto for me.
Yeah?
I'm a Perotto man.
Let's go for Perotto on the charity bet.
Well,
Beautiful.
Perotto? I think we should Dutch the two because I think that's the key form.
Let's Dutch.
So let's Dutch the two.
Marc Hryhorskyj back at you with Bickerstaff and Perotto.
Yeah, I'm happy for. I'll take full responsibility for this one. Don't worry.
We're going 25 each.
When the audit comes in. Okay, so we're Dutching, yeah? So about 6-1 the pair, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we are. On the screen, of course, we can see. I'm looking down. All right, okay. So the case for Perotto is quite clear, isn't it? Ray Dawson, big fan of Ray Dawson. How he's still claiming 3. Not really sure. I know he
hasn't had enough winners.
Well, obviously not had enough winners. But if you fancy a horse with Ray Dawson on, he's claiming 3. I think it's gold, really. So a lot of time for him. He's drawn towards the far side. Hopefully there'll be some pace around him. Ross can tell us about that in a minute. Maybe Seven Brothers, Just Frank's another pace hanging on the near side, but we'll get to that. And Bickerstaff as well. So why do you think Bickerstaff has got any chance of reversing form in Perotto?
Well, he was on the wrong part of the track, but also the ground is the key thing for Bickerstaff. His best form last year was in softish ground, and whereas Perotto's kind of the other way. So
his daddy is a soft ground influence, and in Mason.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, pretty much anything in these colours. So soft ground.
David Armstrong's colours, of course.
I mean, in terms of pace, so this is an interesting thing. Bearing in mind, it might not be the same because it's a different race, and it might just be that the best horse was where the best horse was last time. But the low-drawn horses in that Belosa race dominated. And I think, we've just backed Bickerstaff and Perotto. The one I'm worried about, and I have had a little saver on, is Just Frank, because he's drawn 3, he's a front runner, he's a course and distance winner in soft ground.
Yeah.
I think Harry Burns is just going to go.
He beat Perotto last year. Perotto was a big eye catcher that day, and I think I don't know, why did they run him over 7 last time? Just Frank, it's funny, isn't it? I've got a feeling they're readying this guy for a handicap later on in the season. Just Frank, that would be my look. It's Les Eyre. He's a master of the plot, So Harry Burns on claiming 7. Keep an eye on Just Frank, but yeah, we're going to see him early, aren't we?
He's a pace angle
on that front.
He's a pace angle. I mean, if it goes back to how he was last year, then Rebel at Dawn's normally a pace angle. I would have thought that Barney's Bay will be up there as well. Seven Brothers shouldn't be too far away. So
We're expecting, unlike the previous races this afternoon, to have an even pace.
I would say so.
I reckon fast gallop. Just Frank is a bullet horse. He goes from the start, and he dominated. I think it was a sales race, wasn't it? Last year.
It was the sales race. They gambled him and he just took it apart.
Yeah,
he's the only pace angle drawn low though.
On his return against the elder horses he led.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think you want to be low, based on what we've just seen.
Perotto's next door, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to suit Perotto. I put up Jadwal for this race, but I don't like the draw. And this wouldn't be a race that I would necessarily be betting in anyway. I was just forced to put a selection up. I'm going to go cold on Jadwal, who was my selection. Perotto would be my next best in the race. So
yeah, I like him.
Just Frank's very interesting. Best performance over course and distance.
Yeah.
Definitely want to keep an eye on here.
He's a proper. I mean, if you were going to go,
Jadwal is the spotlight.
If you were going to go back to lay, Marc, I think Just Frank's an obvious candidate.
I like how you analyse races.
The spotlight, remarkable.
Big fan of how Ross analysed races. It seems very much how I would analyse a race. Pace.
We've come
down on quite a bit the same as well.
A train later on.
Yeah.
Fist bumping and everything. Unbelievable scenes for the first time here on Half in
a beer if you gave me a bit of words.
Who'll be paying? That's the question. Probably Muggins here. Okay, can I throw another one into the mix? First Folio. For the syndicate, one of the greatest syndicates I think we've got in the country, isn't it? The Owners Group. And this sprung a surprise, you could say, at Yarmouth. Ex-French, James Ferguson, young up-and-coming trainer. And he won really, really well. He's gone up £11 for that. But it wasn't a surprise. They were advised, the syndicate, to have a few quid on, and they have been advised again today. First Folio.
He was very keen. He was drawn on the right side of the track, but he was still wide of the runners, and he powered clear of them. It was one of those ones where we don't know how good he is. It was also his, we haven't seen him sprinting very much in those kind of races. He's another one where they tried over 7, he didn't quite get home. So yeah, he could be a very interesting horse here. But you do get the feeling you've missed the wedding, don't go to the funeral.
Yeah, I think you summed it up when you said we don't know quite how good he is. He could take this apart again. £11 though, TC.
Yeah, he's completely unproven, and so is the trainer. James Ferguson's unproven as well. He's hard to weigh up, First Folio, and he hung slightly right.
His dad is,
of course.
John Ferguson.
Yeah,
he
was a shrewdy, wasn't he?
Extremely well-connected chap. Yes, indeed. Bloodstock, and wasn't he a good trainer of jumpers as well? Okay, so James Ferguson, a young man we're going to be hearing a lot more of, no doubt. However, we are looking at Bickerstaff and, of course, Perotto. What's Jumbie doing in the market, Marc Hryhorskyj? Pretty solid to me.
Yeah, not really moves. Currently around 4.1, around the 3-1 mark, 4.2 to lay. Looking at it right there, there's more money queuing up there to back this one, around 3-1. The two that you guys like as well, Bickerstaff is currently 97.4, and Perotto 8.2, a little bit of late money for that. Just Frank's currently 16.5, 17.5 to lay. But yeah, it looks really competitive here. Absolute minefield. So let's maybe see if we can get a winner here. Obviously, been better form than me today, you guys.
Okay, well, we're off and running then. Let's find out in the 3:15. Ross Brierley, cheer them on.
And racing, Just Frank on the far side of the pace. On the near side, Jadwal and Fantasy Master and Smeaton's Light as well. Perotto on the far side. Just Frank is doing what we thought he might do. And if you did back to lane, you'd probably get out by now. He's on the far side. Perotto is going over to
pretty happy with Perotto,
and the rest of them have gone their own way. Jumbie is looking a little bit awkward, but then doesn't he always? Down the middle, we've got Barney's Bay. We've got Seven Brothers also up there. Shalar Asker has changed tactics and is now making the pace down this near side. So we've got Just Frank and Perotto on their own, which again, I'm not sure that's necessarily the best place to be. Jumping down this near side has got the pace to chase. Bickerstaff switches out and travels.
Now I'm worried
nicely.
about Perotto. I don't like to see this. Come on, what do you got, Perotto? You've got to fill your lungs here because being on the far side. Is he out of it, TC?
He's making a nice run now. I think Just Frank quickened it and Perotto's been...
Here we go.
Jadwal, I think you might have got the wrong one here, but Jadwal...
Oh, not spotlights again!
As well. Jumbie surely is going to pick it up down this near side. All the pace was near side. We've gone the draw bias and we've been done again.
Perotto for the place.
Jumbie down this near side, though, the creative force was the right...
He's going to get done again. I think Jadwal's going to take this, isn't
all
he?
over the place. Jadwal is coming back for another challenge, but Jumbie stays 7 furlongs. Surely will pull out more. Jumbie goes on to beat Jadwal behind those Rebel at Dawn. And Rob Lee in the producer's studio has had a good bet.
They've had it right off today.
They've had it right off. Rob Lee, senior producer, I've been telling me all week about. He said, I've been watching this Jumbie. You weren't sure about it, were you? I was. It's that creative flair. Is it creative force? Sorry, creative force. Key horse, early season horse. Showed the attitude you weren't sure he had in his locker.
Well, I mean, he did show a bit of attitude, like the one I was worried about. He did cock his jaw and he did hang a little bit, but today he's put it all together. But again, all the pace was near side. All the pace was high.
Yeah.
Just Frank went the far side and Perotto followed
Perotto's run a big race, isn't he?
He finished
Because
fourth.
he's marooned on the far side. Halfway, you looked in trouble. He's kept going.
Yeah, he finished fourth, definitely. He's worth marking up for that effort. I thought Rebel at Dawn ran well as well to finish third, and I'm just glad that Jumbie got up because I got off Jadwal and I'd be here cursing.
But what a day Spotlights are having. I mean, what was that? About 18 to 1 shot, wasn't it? It looked like he was going to take it out. That would have been 6 from 6. Unbelievable. If you're following the Spotlights today, you're in absolute clover. If you're following the market leaders, you're having a great time. Yeah. When the ding-dong emerged there, Marc Hryhorskyj, how low did Jadwal go?
Yeah, surprisingly, it actually hit 1.8 for £267. I don't think it ever looked like a 1.8 chance again, but I think it's coming in the final furlong. You were always confident that Jumbie was going to get there. But yeah, I think that's definitely you want to be on the favourites today. They're having it right off the spotlight, guys.
They really are. Absolutely fantastic scenes. And we now go to Newbury. Bye-bye Newmarket. It's been fun, but let's wound it up. Oh, here we go. Group 1 action. The best of the best. He comes out. The poster boy, as I've been calling him, of the mile division. We've really needed one since it was weakened by a couple of horses going off to stud. Marc Hryhorskyj, what price is Palace Pier in the Lockinge?
You would imagine that you'd have a lot of multiples going on at Palace Pier here. It's currently trading at 1.64 to back, 1.65 to lay. I'm not sure about this here. I'm not sure the race is going to be run to suit. I'm quite keen on Century Dream to back this one and the win in the 4-place market. The Christopher Stables 4 from 21, 19% strike rate. And just alluding back to the John Gosden stable farm, I think it's 4 from 42 or 4 from 41 now. On ratings should win Palace Pier. But I just think this could potentially be a messy race. And the only front sort of pace angle I can see here is from Century Dream, and James Dodd could get a cheap lead here. I think I'll win Century Dream around 26, and back this in the 4-place market around 3.1. Around 2 to 194 is probably the play here. I'm actually genuinely surprised John Gosden hasn't put a pacemaker in here, because Palace Piers are often slowly away and does have to get woken up. I just think this could potentially be a messy race. Obviously 1.64 to back, 1.65 to lay. A lot of multiples will be racking up on this one, but we'll do a win in a 4-place bet here on Century Dream. That's where we're going to play this one.
Thank you, Marc Hryhorskyj. OK, Century Dream, Simon Crisford. And one man that will be enjoying hearing that coherent argument is Ross Brierley, because you concur, my friend.
I think in terms of 4-place markets and backing horses to sneak into the frame in a race where I think we all agree that the favourite is a worthy favourite and is the best horse. It's not a hype horse by any stretch of the imagination, but you're looking for an angle in. Century Dream is 2 from 3 at the track, loves the ground, goes well fresh, will be on the speed, won the rearranged Diomed last year.
Before you ruin the price further, can we get this bet matched? Did you,
Did
you want 25?
Sorry.
Did you want 25 win?
Yeah. Let's get the bet on here. Yeah, we'll do a £25 stake at 25 in the win market. We'll get that on.
Before you ruin the price further. Brilliant, TC. I thought that had been placed, of course.
And the 4 places, was it?
Yeah, we'll take... the 3.1 has quickly disappeared. They were queuing up there. 2.82 now. We'll take that. See if we can take that one. 2.82.
25?
Yeah, on Century Dream in the 4-place market, yeah.
OK.
I'd also like to give a little shout for Safe Voyage as well. Often runs fresh. That one's interesting. 3 out of 4 when fresh.
Is there?
Only defeats.
Is there? They're very good at these favourites, aren't they? The Quins who train this guy, of course.
El Astronaute.
El Astronaute, brilliant. Chester last week, wasn't he? But Safe Voyage and Century Dream, the old men of the party, but lots in their favour. Take Palace Pier out, and they'd have a right old chance, wouldn't they? Okay, so we know that Ross and Marc like Century Dream. I want to give you some numbers on Century Dream just to back that up. Actually, soft ground. Absolutely loves it, doesn't he? We know that. In fact, he basically finds a good £6 or £7 just for a bit of rain. He does operate on good, but he's got a good record here at Newbury, as Ross was alluding to. 4-1-1 from 3 runs. Read those form figures as well. Definitely see it.
Speaking of group horses in handicaps, was 4th in the London Gold Cup to Defoe. So
I asked you if he'd run in this race, and it's actually one he's swerved so far, which seems a bit surprising, doesn't it? Maybe it's been drier, I don't know. But Century Dream then for Ross and Marc to run a big race. Obviously, Palace Pier. Does anyone think Palace Pier isn't going to win?
No. I think
we all expect him to see the win. Marc, I think, is probably hottest on that, isn't he?
I mean, bearing in mind, Gosden and Dettori, they've had 2 runners today. They've both been unplaced. They're all been unplaced.
How many have been unplaced now?
13,
is that 14?
14, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of my angle here. I think 1.6. Again, best horse in the race on ratings as well should win. I just think it could be messy in the pace angle. I think there's a bit of value, obviously, with Century Dream. I think I'd much rather be on that 25s and 2-1 in the place market than the win on 1.64. That's how I want to play it.
To put it into context, Adjusted Racing Post ratings have got Palace Pier on 141. The last 10 winners have been at least £4 within the top rated, haven't they? TC's nodding away. Oh, look, if you apply trends and historical records to this race, there's only one left out of all of them, and it's Palace Pier. And he came back, didn't he, TC, at Sandown in the classic, in the mile there. I'm trying to think of the actual name. It's not a classic trial at all, was it? The Bet365 mile or whatever it is. Mile, yeah. And we've seen very good horses win that over the years. And after a crack, he absolutely went away, didn't he? And listen, take out the third on Champions Day. Wasn't third, was he? Was he third in the end?
Yeah, he was third. Yeah.
That was actually a very good run then, wasn't it?
It was a huge
one. The Revenant.
Everything
he lost a shoe that day, basically, early on. Frankie Dettori said it was like riding a horse on 3 legs.
Yeah.
He has won on heavy ground. I don't see the ground being a problem at all. I think they're just pouring a bit of cold water. I'm going to say now that I think Palace Pier will be, at the end of our season, the top-rated horse in the world.
I mean, he's the best miler in the world, in my opinion, right now.
He could go up to mile 2 as well, they're talking about, aren't they?
Yeah, he's got stamina. He's by Kingman, who's one of the best young sires in the game at the moment. He's just, I think for win purposes, I know he's 4-7 or whatever price, he's just virtually impossible to oppose.
There's a horse called Nature Strip, TC, isn't there, down under, who's the top horse. He's a 125 he's got for his demolition job in the Tommy Smith Stakes. Anyway, so look.
His one
is £4 off that, and I think he's going to usurp that this time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, his one defeat, he noticeably was running on 3 legs. Like he came up there cruising. He looked like he was going to play a big hand in the finish, and then in the final furlong, he genuinely stopped to a walk because he lost. I don't know how much. Obviously, I've never ridden a horse, so I can't tell from my own experience. But he looked like he was running on a flat tyre, basically.
And he sat on a horse.
Horses don't have tyres. That's the thing you notice.
I've never sat on a horse. No, I've literally never even sat on a horse.
Would you know if you had, by all accounts?
Probably not. But jockeys, obviously, they would know. And
he's a horse. Tom Collins is a horse.
Yeah, I am a horse. I can't sit on a horse. I am a horse.
I wonder why you were scratched from Thirsk the other day. You're coming down here on the train. Didn't get up. Brilliant. But are you opposing Palace Pier? That's what I'm trying to get to.
I'm not opposing him. I think he'll win. It's been a day for favourite backers. If you've been backing all the favourites and you're in profit, then look, I wouldn't put you off having a bit on 4-7 just to build your profit. However, with the lads, my bet, if I was betting in the race, which I'm not, I'm just going to watch it, I would be playing Century Dream, just because I think he's a horse you want to catch fresh.
OK, I'm playing Top Rank in the without. That was my suggestion. I like this chap a lot. We saw him win when Marc was last on the show on Lincoln Day. And listen, he's going to need Palace Pier to lose 2 shoes probably to beat him, but I like him. He's got everything in his favour: straight track, ground, stable in form, lovely piece of work, which you might have seen out there. If you follow James Tate on Twitter, his trainer, they document a lot of their work, and it was really impressive. Now, it might well have been against a plater, but he was very impressive to me. They've kept him in training as an entire. They hope that for Saib Manana, this will be the next stallion in the ranks, and he'll be top of that tree. For me, I just thought from stall 5, he's got plenty of options. I was a little bit put off my Oberon by Agus yesterday, I've got to say. He thinks he wants further. He was going to go for the Ispahan, but certain circumstances mean that won't be happening. So I just think that he'll run well, but I was expecting a little bit more maybe from William on that front.
Yeah, I think last year as well, he ran some good races in defeat. His one victory came at, was it York? Yeah, York. He beat a horse called Tassamu, who's subsequently shipped out to the States, which one suggests that Shadwell, who owns Tassamu, didn't think that she was going to be didn't think she was going to be a good horse this year, and also two, maybe she needs faster ground. She's gone up to Grow Emotion in the States. I don't think his form is anywhere near in the same league as the likes of Palace Pier, and if you're backing him, you're looking for potential.
Now, are we? You'll probably be looking at the screen, watching, thinking, well, they've not mentioned Lope Fernandez yet. Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien, who have got a rich history in this race, of course. And when Hawkwind won it, wow. And then we're going back to that. This guy isn't near that lead.
7 Group 1s he's been beaten in, which is a fair old whack, isn't it?
Has he finished in the places as well? He's such a bridesmaid kind of horse.
I would place lay this chap, I've got to be honest.
The problem...
Yeah, I am with you on this one, Dave. I think the ground's a concern for Lope Fernandez. I think he needs the faster ground.
He was impressive on his comeback. I give you that at Leopardstown, but the horse that was supposed to put it up to him, it was also Jesse Harrington's, just blew his brains early, never got involved. So I think it's a bit of a red herring.
That was in a time where Aidan...
They've got to have a runner right in this. They've got to have a runner. I think that, listen, Tom Segal thinks differently. Tom Segal thinks this chap is only starting to warm up.
This is the thing. Until
Tubo form at 2,
Until last time out, I would say horse got no chance of winning this race. But then the speed figure last time out was like, oh, okay, this horse has done something.
The clock backed up visual impression.
He's finally done so again. So, what I like to do is look back at horses who've won races like this and what they did coming into it. What was their top figure? So what is the standard bearer? We're looking at between 104 and 108 on my personal speed figures. Palace Piers and 109. Lope did 108 last time out. So it hit the level of a Group 1 winner with the speed figure last time out. It didn't beat anything, but we've been talking about Al-Azi earlier. You beat what's put in front of you. So he has done a figure that suggests he can win a Group 1. But as Marc said, is it on a straight track here on soft ground?
Slightly changing the topic here, but just because I've seen Happy Power for King Power Racing's in this field, who I personally don't think has any chance. But talking about York horses that ran really well last week and King Power, Winter Power?
Winter Power, yeah.
Ooh, she was so good. I was so taken with her. And
is that Commonwealth Cup bound? Or
no, it's King's Stand. Yeah, she was so quick. I didn't actually see the sectionals. I need to go back.
He had a great week, didn't he?
Yeah, Art Power I thought was given a torrid ride. I have to say that personally, it was miserable.
So you're going to say that?
Yeah, he had to go forward. You've got to send Art Power. He held him up in behind runners. But Winter Power, Jesus Christ, that speed. You don't see too many fillies like that. You really don't see too many quick fillies like that. She looked like an American horse. I was really impressed. I'll be backing in the King Stand.
Okay.
A
reminder that we're
going to go
King
to
Stand.
I don't think she will.
She might win a Nunthorpe quite easily.
Yeah, I don't think she'll win the King Stand, but I've got to back her. I have to.
We veer off slightly, but we'll bring it back.
Palace Pier here. They're queuing up for this one. We're in at 1.55 here.
Yeah, listen, I make it a 4-9 shot, to be totally honest. I was surprised.
It's the day of favourites as well. If you're backing favourites and you're winning money, these punters have got a lot of cash in their balance right now, and they're trying to build it up on this favourite. There's no surprise.
They will be on the floor at Gosden's if this gets turned over.
Well, the other thing we talk about is pace, because we have talked about that a lot today, and we
differed a bit on this, didn't we? You said there's not a great deal of pace, and I said, isn't there?
Actually, to be fair, the more you look at it, you start to look. Century Dream will probably up there. Lord Campari will probably up there. Pogo.
Pogo's the one, I think. The outside of the lot, lovable Pogo. We saw him win on this show when Leicester 21 days.
And Happy Power. So you've got pace in theory in 12, in 4, in 1, and in 9. Yeah. So if this isn't an evenly run race, then.
Yeah, Pogo's going to bounce out. We know that, don't we? He's going to. He's going to. He might even go.
You've been giving him a bit of stick, though, haven't you?
Absolutely. That's not. I hope he doesn't fall off.
I'm not even going to bring myself down to your levels.
Yeah, quite right. We were sort of gleefully lining up there. What about Lady Bowthorpe? She came good, didn't she? Last time out, I was a little bit surprised about that, but Paul Keeley liked her that day. Of course, she beat Queen Power. Dahlia, who's gone out and hosed up since.
She will win a. I don't know what it's called now. The Windsor Forest. She had a great chance in Windsor Forest, I think.
What, Lady Bowthorpe?
Ascot, Group 2, straight mile. I think that would be perfect for her. But this, I think this is a bit too warm.
It looks warm, doesn't it? But again, the markets, she could be bigger. Let's get some social interaction coming up from you out there. We know you've been waiting in the wings. Let's see. And Tiernan Murray comes on and says, on the Sanctuary Dream, come on! Quite right. Ross Brierley and Marc are with you all the way. It's been a great day so far, isn't it, for following tipsters, spotlights. Tom Leach comes back onto the party and says, I back Loppe Fernandez each way. I'm a glutton for punishment. Well, your double went down, Tom, so you're bandwagoning now, aren't you? Jumping on that ship, my man. Loppe Fernandez. Hope it runs well for you, Tom. Okay, what have we got out there? Oh, that was it. Okay, just the two socials. Don't forget, we will be giving a word after Lockinge for your Ascot hopes. As we see Palace Pier, interestingly being taken down to post, isn't he? Just have a word on that, TC. I mean, is there anyone better out there than taking a horse down to post at the moment?
Probably not, no.
Frankie.
Yeah, he's just cantering, isn't he? He's doing nothing out there, and this is what you want to see.
He's just quite exuberantly, very
but
quietly being taken down.
He's not wasting energy, but he's also looking like he's ready. That's what you want to see from these kind of horses. How do you stand on the point of, like they do in American racing, with ponying down to start?
You think we should see more of it?
I think
and Brian Meehan, obviously.
Yeah. I think it'd be a really good addition. One, because if there's a loose horse, the guy on the pony will go and catch the loose horse.
Lay this now, Dave. The queuing-up's out to 1.62. The layers seen this as a negative, but it's drifting a little bit. Yeah, and just in reference to your American one later on, I'm working on an enhanced boost for you later on, Tom Collins at Pimlico. I'm going to push this one out to 11 at 4, keep the punters happy.
If you weren't sure what Marc's talking about, it's the Preakness Stakes tonight at Pimlico.
Yeah.
Tom Collins, a massive US tipster, pundit, punter, and Marc Hryhorskyj likes a little bit of that as well. They've been having a wee little tit-a-tat. And your selection is, just remind us, Marc teased it at the top of the show. It was, come on, I don't want a whole thing. Just
I think the most likely winner is Constantur, who Marc is looking to push out. My personal bet will be Midnight Bourbon, purely because I don't want to see Bob Baffert win the race. I don't think he should have runners in the race based on the drug scandal since Medina Spirit in the Kentucky Derby.
Let's not go there, Tommy. We're just about to go to the old Lockinge, absolutely. But yeah, no. It's been a big week over there in America, hasn't it? Of course, we've sense more to come from that. But Medina Spirit, the Kentucky Derby winner, he's passed all the tests. He's allowed his chance. But there's a price boost going on then, potentially. The banter starts low and fast. Absolutely happy days. We're not too far away from the Group 1 Lockinge. It's a great way to end the races on the show here. 7 we will be bringing you this afternoon. Really, really enjoyed it. While we wait for them to go behind, listen, you've seen what we like. Marc and Ross think Century Dream will run a really big race. Loads of angles in there. TC, no bet, thinks Palace Pier will win. A couple of angles there. I think Top Rank Without will run a big race for you. Holds my over on last year's form. Highlight of the day, because we're going to go Royal Ascot after this. Highlight of the day thus far is Bay Bridge, right?
It's Bay Bridge.
It's a handicap man, but we've seen a blot there, haven't we?
We have. I mean, I'm a bit more like Marc. I want to be getting stuck into somewhere between an 8 and a 16 to 1 shot each way. I don't want to be looking at 11 or 4 shots. But you're right in your notes. This is a group horse, and it turns up in a handicap. And it's 9 to 2.
It was a proper gamble, CC, as well. I was having a chat actually with our producer earlier, and I said these horses that you see from 4. There was one in the first race of Thursday, wasn't there? Dave Evans.
Yeah, 40 to 30.
Right, again, now that is obviously a sizable price crash. Yeah. How much money does it take to actually do that? Whereas you see a horse in a Saturday race 3 to 1 into under 2 to 1. Now that's a proper gamble. Now Bay Bridge was 9 to 2, 5 to 1 yesterday, 5 to 2 in the morning.
6 to 1 on Monday as well.
The wealth of money for that horse that was a proper plunge.
Yeah.
Freemason Lodge knew what they had. Great to see Sir Michael Stout having such a good year.
It's also important to note that the plunge came in the London Gold Cup, a race full of good young horses.
And they know nothing else got back.
Exactly.
It was just like one horse.
Exactly. They knew he was good, and they knew he was very good. Good enough to beat horses that are well handicated. So
check out the analysis for that later on in the paper. You can see that. It's probably live now in your members section. Our analysts will be telling you exactly where Bay Bridge will be going, how he did it, times, all that sort of stuff. You cannot miss that. The quotes are tagged on at the bottom as well. Spotlight's having an absolute rocking time. Palace Pier bidding to make it 7 out of 6 on the day for the Spotlight.
We should also say that Al Arzi was brilliant as well today. We've seen a lot of good horses. Palace Pier wins this.
Love it.
What a great day of action.
John Leaper.
Yeah, John Leaper, another one.
That was a real big highlight of mine.
Personally, I prefer to be backing bigger prices, finding value, finding markets where the favourites, are vulnerable. Yeah. Today is a day where you've seen horses and you're thinking, right, what can they go and do next time out? Yeah. They've taken in their trials today, or their races where let's see how good they are today, and next time out we're going to see Al Arzi, we're going to see John Leaper, we're going to see, we might see Jumby in a really good sprint next time out. Every winner we've seen on the races we've covered today are going to have a really nice target to aim at.
And here's another, I know there's going to be people out there that don't agree, but here's another reason why I like the flats better than the jumps. You get a whole week full of York and great racing. You had Newbury Newmarket. Today we've got Newbury Newmarket. Brilliant horses running next week.
That's got a lot to do with the seasons, though, hasn't it?
Yes, the ground and whatnot.
Of course.
But you just seem to always have good racing on the flat season throughout, whereas the jumps you get bad.
We are in that beautiful period now.
There's 4 black type races
Exactly.
at Avon, which,
On a Sunday.
We've got
give us a day
French
off.
Classics tomorrow as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Classics, yeah, of course,
Poetic Flair follows up tomorrow, doesn't he?
It's a race I won't be betting in. I don't know too much about the French horses, to be fair. It would be nice to see if he
will
does.
win the 1,000. I'd be taking on Mother Earth in that.
Andre Farb's got one in there that's
He has.
good.
He has. I really like
Back to Poetic Flair, was it? I don't think a horse has ever won the 2,000 guineas and then won the
This
French.
is Jim Bolger.
Jim
Yeah.
Bolt, yeah.
Sets the rule book and he tears it up. Poetic Flair, we're looking forward to that tomorrow. Unmissable action here. So yeah, look, we know you're loving it out there today. We get some great feedback coming through from the gallery and everything. Great to have you on board. Doesn't it come through with these guys that they really, really love what they're talking about, and we have fun as well. Marc Hryhorskyj, a late last minute update from you, please, as the final few go in. Oh, they're off. I can't go there. They're off and running. They've caught me unawares. Let's go to Ross Brierley then. Final race of the day is the Lockinge.
It is indeed the feature of the day, and let's see where the pace is going to come from. On the far side, we've got Lord Campari coming through. My Century Dream, very keen. I don't know why they're not sending that one on, but Lord Campari, Safe Voyage, Happy Power, Pogo, held up dead last, Lord Glitters where he normally is, and in between that lot, Top Rank got a lovely sit in between the runners. My Oberon, Lady Bowthorpe, Lope Fernandez has only got one behind and is just behind Palace Pier, unsurprisingly second favourite, tracking the favourite here. But yeah, I mean, we're saying that there's potentially a few front runners, but Lord Campari here, who won his novice in a remarkable fashion over course and distance, doing this exact thing, has gone on to make the running here.
He's going to fall in the hole though, TC, isn't he? He's far too keen, isn't he?
Yeah, you'd imagine. He was supposed to run at Leicester as well on his comeback, but didn't end up taking up that entry. So yeah,
Loppe Fernandez following Palace Pier everywhere he goes, so does Loppe.
It's what he does in every race. Is why he always picks up the pieces, because he follows the danger. He's a smart.
Top Rank having a look for a run.
Top Rank's had a lovely toe through this so far. Palace Pier down this near side.
They're ending
Happy
up
Power
near
is
side.
working as well. Palace Pier on this near side.
Oh,
but
Frankie's having a very nonchalant look for Ryan
He's
Moore. Here
thinking
we
he's got
go.
this. So it's Palace Pier on the near side, Top Rank on the far side.
Light
Definitely
him
has
up,
a chance
Frankie.
as well. Century Dream, Lope Fernandez looking for a gap behind, but Palace Pier, the best horse in this race, has taken it up. Lady Bowthorpe running an absolute screamer.
101.
Top Rank, Palace Pier has hit the front though. Lope Fernandez has found trouble in an empty room, and it's Palace Pier who's gone on to take it up from Lady Bowthorpe. Back in third is Top Rank, running on for fourth. Is it going to be Lord Glitters as he often does? But Palace Pier has won this under hands and heels under a very confident ride. Lady Bowthorpe
How good
has
is
run
Lady
her face
Bowthorpe?
off. Top Rank back in third place, and fourth goes to Lord Glitters. But Palace Pier has waltzed up.
Palace Pier lights up for you out there. The poster boy, we've got him. Tell you what, we have to pick the bones out of that form, because the 108 Lady Bowthorpe has won an absolute screamer. She's left Top Rank in third. We thought he might be the one without. I did certainly in her wake. What, she 2 lengths off Palace Pier, TC?
A length, yeah. She has run a massive race.
She's hit 6.2 and running there around 5-1 for win purposes. Just before we got called, I was going to say there was a wee bit of late money. It was 40s and the 29s in Betfair SP. 4th place market was around about 2-1. But yeah, run a really good race there, Lady Bowthorpe.
Well, let's go back to something you said pre-race. She wins a Duke of Cambridge. We'll get to Palace Pier, don't worry. But we're astonished by the run of Lady Bowthorpe. She's actually had to wait a little bit for a run away from the rail. You can mark her up a little bit from that. You said Duke of Cambridge Group 2. We've got a short price favourite for that, surely.
I mean, you would imagine so off the back of that, yeah. I mean, to be fair, they might be tempted to go for the Queen Anne after that. But
she looks a proper Group 1 horse to me. Say Palace Pier there has run to 125, okay? Yeah. He's beaten Top Rank by, 5-6 lengths? So that would suggest he is running towards something like his mark. Yeah. Lady Bowthorpe's run beyond 120.
Well, she's closing on him as well.
Yeah.
It's a remarkable run.
120, that's an incredible effort.
But not only are they 5, 6, 7 lengths clear of Top Rank,
Who's
he's
then
5, 6 lengths
of Lord Glitters, who's a very good horse as
2
well.
have come clear in the Lockinge. Palace Pier has beaten Lady Bowthorpe. It was Top Rank in third, wasn't it? He's run very well, Top Rank. He tried to go with Palace Pier, sort of broke a little bit for that. Look, and Lord Glitters coming back from Dubai, run on. Surely they'll be going up in trip with him again after that. He's flown home from way back. There were some disappointments in the race. Lope Fernandez didn't even pick up a leg. My Oberon looks a little bit late, but didn't he? Century Dream, very rusty first one back. However, the poster boy, Palace Pier, has won the Lockinge, and he's got it all ahead of him now, guys, hasn't he? So, Marc, just give us a market update at the story of the race before we gush gush in the studio.
Yeah, Lady Beaufort did hit around 5-1 for small money. Palace Pier didn't really hit above BSP there at all. I think I was quite surprised with Century Dream. I thought that one would have went forward. Didn't hit above the BSP either. I'd actually take Lady Beaufort from that race. Again, it does look like a potential to be a Group 2, Group 1 animal there. That was really impressive. That's the one I'd take out the race. And obviously, John Gosling getting a winner, getting that monkey off the back there. Maybe the stable form's starting to take a turn.
What price for the Queen Anne, Marc? We'll come back to you for a second in that. Yeah. Let's gush then. I mean, could we be going Judd Monty, or they're just going to... Should we just stick at the mile? Since the big players have retired in the mile division, it's been a weak class, hasn't it? But now we've been waiting for that star. We hope a 3-year-old will emerge. He couldn't run in the Guineas, of course, because he had a setback last year. Yeah. We know it was all truncated. He went to Newcastle on a handicap, and then he's just done everything differently, hasn't he?
He's one defeat where everything went wrong for him, and he still managed to drag himself into third behind the Revenant. So he's clearly a very, very good horse. He will go to Ascot, he will win. He'll go to Goodwood, he'll win.
And then what will he do? This is where it gets interesting, isn't he? Would you go Breeders' Cup potentially? Johnny G we're talking about here. It's Keeneland, isn't it, TC?
Could do, yeah. Ran a Nable at Breeders' Cup.
But he's got maybe Golden Horn, and the ground could be a bit funny over there. Do you
Yeah.
remember Golden Horn got turned over at Keeneland?
If he takes it to the Breeders' Cup, he'll absolutely hack up. I think Order of Australia won the mile race last year, and Palace Pier's so much better than Order of Australia. So the US.
I think that's the way they're going to go. Personally, I don't think they'll be keen on Champions Day.
Not if it rains, no.
Let me put my little hat on.
So there's your fez.
My little fez. And say he has beaten a 108 rated horse and a 113 rated horse. He should have been winning like that.
Yeah, of course. But look, it's the way that Frankie looks round.
I also think that the second and third improved, I would say.
Absolutely.
On what
she's going to be, what is she now, 116 on that, £8 or £8?
I'd say top rank ran to 116, so I'd put her 120 personally.
Wow, there you go. It was a race that slightly fell apart, wasn't it?
It's a more than a stone in hand. So he should have been won.
Yeah.
That. And the second favourite.
The spotlights, guys, can we? 7 out of 6. 6 out of 7.
7 out of 6.
7 out of 6 is even better. 6 out of 7 for the spotlights today on RP Live.
Great
wow,
job.
they do unsung heroes a little bit sometimes of the Racing Post. Great to see Rich Ross and his team take a bow. Okay, that was fantastic. Marc, what price is the Queen Anne?
Yeah, I'm currently looking at it just now. I'm just getting a notification back from the traders, but it's 4-7 currently with Paddy Power Betfair at the moment, so sure enough, they're certainly impressed. There's a wee bit of 4-6 out there, but we're 4-7 after that run for Palace Pier.
Ducking Palace Pier on the sportsbook then. An odds-on shot then at Royal Ascot. Is he your banker out there? We've been teasing a few. We've cherry-picked the 3. Shall we get a word on them? Palace Pier, wasn't that great? It's been a lovely day out there. Let's end with some social interaction then out there. Here we go. Oh, look, the corner appears, despite the fact that the graphics have gone there. Talented lads there. And Connie Doherty comes on, who's with me, of course, with John Leaper. Connie comes in. Supremacy is his name. Wow. I'm really glad that we found this one out. I mean, will any horse line up at Royal Ascot in the Commonwealth Cup with as much to prove as Supremacy?
No.
It's
no.
not. It's a
one word. I thought we were playing the one-word game again.
Yeah.
Hang on, Clive Cox has said at the start of the season he's training. This is the best one up there with the best prints I've had. Was it just too bad to be true?
He's not. So my nap.
Has he trained on?
My nap at Royal Ascot is Alchemate. I think Alchemate will win the Commonwealth Cup because I think he's an absolute born Ascot sprinter, and I think Supremacy will win. Yeah. And I think Supremacy will win the July Cup because he will get out there at Newmarket and he will gun them from the front.
So you think you can see him bouncing back at Royal Ascot?
I think he will run okay at Royal Ascot, but I just don't think.
Love that, Connie. It's not an obvious one, that, but a horse at the start of the season, which everyone was backing for the Commonwealth Cup. TC was like absolutely ghost-like.
I don't like Supremacy. I don't think he's trained on necessarily. I didn't really like him last year. He was very good. I didn't really
he
like.
got heavily beaten on his debut last year.
Yeah,
and bolted up.
But I backed him second.
I love that. I love that. Okay, we're keeping with the Carabao. Sorry, at the Commonwealth Cup. Let's get it on. Who's coming up? Cheers, Connie. That's great. Darren Walker comes on and says, "My Ascot nap is Campanelle." Okay, on her since her last win, 25s, Darren. Yes, I love Campanelle. let's give Mr. America the floor.
Yeah, I mean, she's a great sprinter, isn't she? She's proved that she can globetrot. I think that's a great bet. If you want it 25 to 1, then fair play to you. Because
I'm going to try and get a word with Wes Ward on our socials, and I'll tell you, he will be just be telling you this is absolute certainty. So Darren, 25 to 1, count down the days till Friday at Royal Ascot, my man, happy days. And Tom Leach comes back on to end the show. I got 5 to 2, Stradivarius at Ascot. You've got to be happy with the way the Yorkshire Cup result went, right? Because it looked like the one, if there was going to be a horse coming out of it, that might be the pretender. Ocean Wind ran well, didn't he, in the Cigaro? But the splits, Ross Brierley, that Stradivarius did, it was quicker than... all the time boys are gushing about it because he's got that electric turn of foot still at this age.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's a division, it's not particularly strength in depth, is it?
It's become the mile division almost.
Yeah, they do go in fits and bursts, don't they? Some divisions become stronger and some divisions become weaker. But yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I've just thrown myself there because I was just checking that Alchemate is actually in the Commonwealth Cup, which he's not. I think they pulled him out, so scrap that.
Okay, and we'll let Ross Brierley cry while we end the show on that one. Great to have you along, guys, and we'll be doing Royal Ascot Bankers the rest of the weeks leading up to it. It starts a month today. Great stuff. Marc Hryhorskyj, great day. Crossbar a little bit, got a couple in, but you're still standing, my man.
Yeah, I think the approach I wanted to take today was to take on the short ones, similar to Ross there. But again, a lot of the favourite backers have had it right off today. A couple of good performances as well. Lassie, I'll be interested to see that one. Very impressive. That one gets on in the Coronation Cup. We're 6 to 4 there, and obviously Lady Beaufort, a big eye catcher. And just a shout out for Tom as well. We've done a boost there, concert tour to win the Preakness and a 23.37 at Pimlico on the Betfair Sportsbook. That's out to 11 to 4. I think that one's got every chance. So if anybody fancies that, that's available on the Betfair Sportsbook right now.
A seamless link, Marc Hryhorskyj. Great work from Marc from Betfair today. He's off to fly a few drones. Tom, cheers, Marc. Great to see you, my man. Tom Collins, tell us about the Preakness in as succinct a manner as you can. They're giving a price boost on it.
Yeah, price boost on Concert Tour, which is very nice. 11 to 4 is a great price. He should go off about 8 to 5 in the States. Likely to be favourite over Medina Spirit. Medina Spirit won a Kentucky Derby. We'll get the lead again. Concert Tour will be in the outside, drawn in gate 10. We'll come across, sit on the shoulder of Medina Spirit. I think he's the most likely winner of the race. As I've said, I've tipped Midnight Bourbon purely because I don't want Bob Baffert to win the race. It's more of a heart over head thing. I think Midnight Bourbon's got a good chance with Ired Ortiz on board. He's the each-way play, the wise guy play, as people would say, that don't want to back a Baffert horse. But Concert Tour is the most likely winner. And just one other on the card. I've got loads of tips put on my Twitter, but one other that I'll mention here, which is Flighty Lady in race 6 at Pimlico, 6:28. She finished third in the Prix Marcel Boussac when training in France, shipped over stateside, won really well for Chad Brown on US debut and should go well at a price.
The master of the turf, Chad Brown. There you go, 2 beauties from Tom Collins there in the States. TC, great to have you back.
Yeah, it's great fun. Good horses today, good racing. Looking forward to be back. I think it's next week.
Yeah, brilliant. We're seeing plenty of TC, which we know you'll love out there. Ross Brierley, another, I was going to say Romeo of the Racing Post. There you go.
What?
The Romeo of the Racing... Everyone loves you.
Get that in your Twitter bio.
Property at the moment, Ross Brierley at the Racing Post.
That's true. I have.
I miss you on these shows when you don't come and join me. We're pulling you all over the place, but it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you too, mate. There you go. Give us a little fist.
I have to do it. You won't shake hands until you've had your jab, will you?
Absolutely, absolutely.
There's a little bit of inside knowledge for you. Thanks to the guys in the gallery, all the social team. Thank you for watching. Until next week, I've been Dave Orton. This has been Racing Post Live.